special meeting. We'll call this meeting to order with a quick roll call.
Stu Erickson.
Here.
Ken May.
Here.
Sean Birdsall.
Here.
Craig Conley.
All right, citizens, well, we need to approve this agenda here. And I'd welcome a motion for that unless there's,
The agenda.
Second.
all those in favor signify with the sign aye. Opposed? And any abstentions? All right, our citizens forum. Any citizens here to speak on anything? Jerry and I just got back from showing the Main Street building again to an interested person for the use of restaurant, multi-purpose restaurant. So that's exciting. We've continued to have some people start to roll in, and it seems like the longer we wait, there's some more people reaching out. He also had another person reach out today, so
Tomorrow.
there's some things going there. Hopefully, knock on wood, get something pulled together. Someone. Nobody else, right? Council, anything you wanted to say?
Wedding
Update. All right. Comes then, this is the follow-up discussion to our second consideration of the ordinance 312. Stop signs at intersection of First Ave North, Story Street, Tama Street at Story Street and Tama Street. Any points of discussion, or has anybody had the chance to hear from any residents? Have we received any comments or anything here at City Hall?
Move we approve second reading. Second.
All those in favor signify with the sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and any abstentions? A discussion and consideration now of the draft capital improvement plan. So I think this is the first kind of official or a new way that we're going through this. Jerry, did you want to just have any
Yeah.
introductory comments on it?
Yeah, I just want to first start and say thank you to the department heads for their input on providing the needs for the capital improvements process. Lindsay and I met with most of all the department heads, including Jonathan. Thank you for participating. So I think we, for the most part, represent most of the community areas, the library, public works, parks and recreation. Yeah, again, most of the areas. So the sheet that you have before you identifies the major items to be considered. We broke them down into various categories such as buildings, land, street, water and sewer improvements, land acquisitions, parks and recreation related areas, parking lot improvements, paving for the most part. And then also we've added capital improvement or capital equipment purchases, things that would be less than 2,500 square feet, as well as things that would be more than $2,500. And you see that's the larger of the two capital equipment purchases. So as far as the shift that we're going through, we've identified needs, we're shifting into priorities. The focus is again, what items need to be addressed under the current fiscal year, which is again fiscal year 26 that ends June 30 of 2026. Those are represented by green. And so we've identified, we provided some notations as to whether or not it's a budgeted item, something that if supported might need to be amended this fiscal year. Yellow would be items that would be potentially addressed in the next budget, which we're going to be working on. The budget process is going to help us segue these capital public improvements, equipment purchases are going to help us with budgeting. We're going to be looking at the current budget, adjustments to revenues and expenditures for the current fiscal year, as well as revenues and expenditures for the next budget year, which is fiscal year 26. So yellow would be fiscal year 27, and then which is a medium priority. And then orange would be a lower priority. So those would be things that are addressed from fiscal year 28 and beyond. As far as the rules of engagement, there really are no rules of engagement. This is a workshop. It's a work session. But I do think for the benefit of staffing, just keeping track of where we're at, using this as a starting point. If there's a request to add items, take items off, or shift the priority, if we could have it like a show of 3 hands
Consensus.
or more, it would be helpful. So we know that that item, whatever it is supported. So, other than that, I don't have anything else unless you guys have some questions.
I think the way from a question standpoint, what I'd like to do to just try to keep it organized and keep us focused, because it is a long list, is maybe just start in the sections. And maybe starting in the building section, just open it. Is there specific questions about anything that's listed underneath the building section? We have the department heads here, obviously. Questions about any of those things that the department heads have identified?
Yeah, I have a question. I feel blindsided. I had no idea we were talking about demolishing the cabin. It's on here as a budget item.
Same.
Well,
No.
all these items are new, and so
Yeah.
this is the table to talk. If you support or don't support, this is the opportunity
Okay.
to, you know,
I don't know,
to weigh in on
under
that.
parks, was that on your agenda?
Well, the demolition of the cabin wasn't necessarily on our list. Addition of bathroom facility at Nelson Park is on our list and has been for a long while, so. There is discussion, general discussion, I know it has been in our group, probably outside of our group. About maintenance, needing to do something with the log cabin long term.
Yeah.
So if it makes sense, which I'm assuming that's why it's on the list. Removal of the log cabin, replacement with a structure that would be fitting of the log cabin, but. Give us some sort of a community space and a bathroom facility.
No,
I would ditto that comment. Sure.
So demolition was more of a question mark, not necessarily. You're saying demolition was more of a demolition question mark, more of a
I
discussion?
would agree with what John says, that yes, that something needs to happen with that building. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Does it need to happen in the next 8 months?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I think something,
That's the first step, right?
it's not in good shape, that's for sure.
The basic logs are gone and, you know, and clearly, you know, we've got some issues there, so. Whether that be removed, I mean, no, I mean, in my opinion, no, it stays until we're ready to go with the bathroom facility, so. I would imagine demo and replacement would be the best step.
Yeah.
And so,
no, I don't think it has. I'm not saying I thought it had a long lifespan. The logs are bad, but and repair or. Bringing it back up to some, you know, to what it originally was is untenable. You can't even find anybody that knows anything about replacing those logs and stuff.
And it was built in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
So it's been in existence since.
Yeah, I don't know, was it moved here?
I don't know the history on it.
I think it was moved here. I think it was moved here was part of the history that.
Okay.
The whole thing, so. It was
There was-
moved in pieces and rebuilt,
Reconstructed.
right?
There was something about it being historic until the newer addition was put on, and then
Yeah.
that voided the historic structure part of it.
What's the relationship with Community Club Upper?
We don't even know who owns it,
Yeah,
so the,
Well, we do. Sue
It said
Erickson
you
can
figured
give
out
us a little
the problem.
update. You found the
figured
news
it out.
article.
the news article.
The city of Slater owns
there's
it.
no one
It
answer.
was in the,
There was a
There
long-term
was some-
lease agreement that
Uh-huh.
was executed. Have we seen the long-term lease agreement, or do we know if it's a living document? No, and Sue has been through more documents in this building than
There-
anybody.
Library.
But she brought to me one day, because we talked about this in our interim, there wasn't a lease agreement that was publicized in the newspaper at some point. It probably needs to be revisited what that relationship is or what the contract terms are, but it is a leased deal based on the most recent record and only record we have Sue has found. Is it's a lease. They lease the building on a long-term lease.
Okay.
And if you look on the assessor's site, it does say that the city of Slater owns that.
Okay.
We used to do all the maintenance on that building.
Right.
Community club reaped the benefit all the rental money. Then for all, they were getting the money for rental, the city was paying for all the, all the utilities, which they still do, and all the maintenance. And it was like, hey, this seems kind of weird. Why are we paying for all the maintenance and not getting the money? So it's been since I've been here. The community club has taken over all the maintenance.
And cleaning, we have like it's
Yeah,
expensive to
cleaning,
get
whatever.
clean, they stock everything or cleaning. Company, so
Right.
we're not making buco off of it.
Yeah, it's not a profit center.
$25 a day.
But that I know has been in the last, within 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would make sense to me that we gather some data on how it's used and how often it's used and by whom it's used. I mean, I think we have a number of community groups that use it on a regular basis, as well as private rentals, as well as elections are held there. And I don't know, maybe some businesses lease rent it out sometimes. So that would be a first step to help us think about what the replacement is. I would be hesitant to think about demolishing in this fiscal year, certainly in the near future.
I hear consensus that it would be it would be unresponsible to demolish with no with no plan or alternative is what I'm kind of hearing from everybody. And so there has to be some sort of alternative. So that to me says
I
that
would guess
that
it's-
naturally moves into a 27 or 28 fiscal year type
I would
discussion.
guess it's booked for stuff this spring for
Yeah.
graduation parties. It usually is.
And we have the calendar, so we should be able to historically look, it doesn't record data, but we can look back.
Nelson Park bathrooms at 26. So, I mean, that's all up to you all, but I guess from a standpoint of.
Be nice
in
to
our
have
initial
sooner.
Meetings, was the discussion, so, yeah.
The city provides the water for it, not the rest of the utilities.
Right,
I'm guessing there's gonna be some push back from a historical point also. So I've had people. Very hostile around any suggestion of demolition because they said it's a.
Like everything in town, there's people that have
I would agree, I think
unnatural attachments to
we
everything
don't need
there
to
is in
get too far
town.
into the weeds, but whatever goes in needs to somehow paid.
Yeah,
Due diligence or due definitely.
Tribute, home in.
Be a tribute to the log cabin in some way, even if it's just some exposed timbers or whatnot, but. The idea being that there be some sort of community space if that's still needed. With, bathroom, kitchen, and then, but there be additional bathroom space for town gatherings, events,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. What's that? Yeah, and park usage. I mean, if we can get rid of the Kaibos in Nelson Park, right? I know that is a problem for maintenance, leaving bathrooms open, but.
So Jerry, what do you recommend here? Cause there's obviously, we haven't raised hands, but I hear consensus
Demo.
on kicking the can a little bit.
Move it to 28.
And there just needs to be more discussion, I guess, is what I'm hearing. We'd like to know usage.
I got those notes.
And history, let's gather some real history and we can have that written up. That'd be a nice webpage and also
Yeah.
be prepared with, this is the history. I'm sure it's in the old newspapers.
I'm from working in here for a while. I can tell you it's our most rented facility. So something has to fill the void.
That's what I say, that's our only decent sized
Yeah,
rentable building in town,
Yeah.
other than
yeah.
these two are I know.
Yeah, the location I think is really appealing being in the park. So I think whatever happens, whether it stays or goes, it has to be retained based on usage and location.
So is there a request to shift to 27 or to 28?
I would say we kick it to 27 for now, barring research and knowing that we'll address it keep it front of mind, but
See what happens with the CCL.
I think you gotta have a plan for bathrooms in that park before you even think about demolishing the only one that's there.
well, that's not really there for the park purposes, right?
No, but it's the only one.
So you'd build it into
Only
whatever
one
was
there.
new. Cause you got the porta potties is what you have
Put
to
up
use.
bathrooms and then worry about what you're gonna do with the cabin's not leaking, it's rented more than anything else. it seems foolish to me to demolish that building before we have any sort of a plan to do anything else with it.
Right,
Mark, can you address like condition, like exterior,
I
interior?
just know. From before, when we were doing maintenance on it, it's not in good shape. I would love to have.
No,
You
Well,
go,
the west side logs are
they're gone.
gone, so, I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what catastrophic failure looks like.
Is it framed on there's framed walls on the inside of the logs? Is that how it works or?
I think so. I think it's just something that's.
So structurally,
There's probably
it's,
furring in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the softwood paneling.
so structurally, it's good?
No.
Like to continue to be rented?
Like the bottom fewer, 2 or 3 logs are not the best.
You could,
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm sure you could hire somebody to go and investigate and get some sort of write-up on it. It'd be really interesting to get. For sure.
Yeah, when it has a short, I mean, it doesn't have that long a lifespan that I don't.
Seems
know.
like a waste of money, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what something like that costs. but-
Versus planning an alternative.
You have 5 years or 10 years, maybe, I don't know.
Right, no, I'm just saying, I think you need to plan for an alternative
Well, I
for
agree.
the most rented building we have in town before
Yeah.
before it's put on next year's
I would like to
demolition.
go build a bathroom
list.
in 2 or 3 years and separate,
Yeah.
if something is gonna happen.
I mean,
to that
picture-
building, you could add it to one facility.
Picture something at like a kid's youth sports complex where they've got one end of the building has got
Yeah.
restrooms, you know, with multiple stalls in each, and then a dedicated space on the other side, right, for whatever.
Okay, so we're gonna kick that to 27 is that good with you guys?
Yeah,
Keep it
follow up with some.
relevant, but
Won't be here in 27, but I see it having a lot longer timeline than that, but that's just one opinion. Fiscal year 27 ends next year and it starts next year and
July 1st,
July
Yeah.
1. July 1.
yeah.
When are we revisiting this process once we fix dates and priorities?
Well, the next scheduled meeting for this process is the 5th.
Well, but okay, so we come up with the capital improvement plan. What is how often do we revisit this? Annually?
Annually.
Okay.
Before.
And those will shift, I mean, right now we're looking at prioritization. I think at some point there'll be financial consideration to the prioritization. And so then that will also then, it's just the beginning of the process.
No.
That's why I say kick it to 27th and go
I
from.
just found a glaring thing on here to be listed as demolition in the next 8 months when the
Yeah, I did
officers of the community club had never heard a word about it.
agree. Well, you heard them. I mean, you're looking at me like that was me or
No,
something.
no, I'm, no,
Okay,
just looking.
all right, I just,
It just kind of hit me out of the.
This
The
is-
thing on the list is.
This
And it's not put in there
game.
as a priority.
this is
It may have been a mistake.
department
There
heads.
was no discussions about getting rid of that thing this next year.
Well, but it's listed on here that it's budgeted. The most
I think
recent one,
BA
so the changes we had,
BA budget.
the cha-
But
that's
it
one
would
thing,
take a
Terry.
budget amendment.
What were the
to
changes
remove
that
it.
we had on here from the one I picked up?
Got it. Budget amendment.
Well, that's what BA is budget.
Yeah, budget amendment,
Ah,
be budgeted,
Oh, and BA budget. amendment.
right, and
Okay,
Snyder Associates provided some estimates too.
I had it
So-
budgeted and architectural.
So let's move it to 27 because I think we all agree nobody is planning or no one on this desk thought we'd demolish the cabin in 26. I think it's just to discuss the wording between the meetings and staff and where we're at today, but
Question on the shop roof, Mark, I assume that's you, 50 grand on replacing.
It's the flat, or,
Yeah.
I would say, a flat roof on the north side of the old shop.
Okay. And I assume that means it's leaking now or,
It has some damages, yes. We've fixed some.
okay,
Going back to a flat roof, we got
Yeah, it's just basically a new
new
membrane.
membrane.
okay. And 50 grand is,
That's it quoted,
okay,
you know. Or an estimate, yeah.
okay.
and we're getting multiple bids on any work like that, right?
That'll be the
was
purchasing
two- That was
plan.
2 bids, yes. That particular-
before it will pre-approve it and it'll follow the purchasing plan that we approved in the last meeting. Oh, you weren't here, sorry, Sue. But there is a purchasing plan that would require a certain number of, that would require 3 formal quotes, I think. It's that threshold.
Price.
That was 2 quotes for a budget number.
Great.
The overhead doors is, I assume on the front of the fire.
Correct.
It's only $2,500.
No, that is just to get
Mhm.
an engineer, a structural engineer.
To do
No, and
And to
analysis.
get a blueprint,
You doing that for
a
25?
blueprint. That's to get a blueprint that we can
Okay.
take to a contractor.
All right, see if it's only $2,500, keep it.
It's missing a zero.
Yeah, that's the cost to the engineer.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I think that's the E behind it, engineering. So that's a budget amendment item.
I got one that about in the middle of City Hall, paint carpet doors, AV restroom, blah, 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 blah. And you got that 2 years out, the carpet in the room back here and chairs in the conference.
Isn't that a leopard print back there?
Need replacing sooner than 2-ish years from now.
Chairs in the conference room for sure.
And
Told Mark to take me
back
today.
there is really bad.
The cleaning lady's gonna charge us more for
Heat
vacuuming
back there, the chairs back there.
of the seats.
I get it if we don't wanna do all of this, but those two items,
Well, and honestly, that'll, depending on whether we do like any of it, will depend on whether or not the library and
Right.
community center, city hall project.
I just thought 2 years out was too long on
Mhm.
some of this building things.
Yeah, good point.
As long as I
I agree.
look for,
I agree.
So is there a recommendation to change it?
I think we should move it to this year.
bump some things sooner.
I would,
I don't know about all of it, but I would think,
There's a lot of stuff there.
And it depends
I
on
put
what,
them-
what long-term plans are here. But by the time we meet in December, we could come up with a list.
hopefully we can be better, but just like replacement of chairs would be logical, like. Cause those chairs could be moved. Anything that could be moved seems logical to me, but
well, I think even vinyl flooring back there, that's just an embarrassment to have anybody walk
Yeah.
into that room.
yeah.
I think that needs to be replaced right away.
Just even if,
That wasn't the budget, but.
Once, when I thought we talked about that,
budget
did that,
Down the road,
but that wasn't in
a couple
your,
months ago.
that wasn't in your budget.
No, it was in this budget.
Yeah.
City Hall budget.
To do that, so we do have budget for it, so.
Probably not new. Not with
Um,
what's taking place at City Hall this year.
For improvements you're saying already,
No, just. You have a lot of money going.
salary you're talking.
Salary,
Yeah,
technology.
okay.
Technology.
Alright, I'm like,
Yeah.
being cryptic here with me, Mark, just fit it out, tell me,
Where'd the money?
shoot me
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Complete.
salaries were under budgeted, yeah,
Well, yeah, that's, we've done a budget amendment for that already, so.
okay,
so I guess,
so,
if the, cause you're saying let's not do this now, cause if the CCL goes through. But even then, before you move into the CCL, it's gonna be 3 years out by the time we get all the rest of the funding and get it built and. I don't expect you guys to live in a substandard building for 3 years.
Yeah. I would, yeah, I think,
So I guess I'd look at those to 26. You ain't done yet either.
Yeah, we've been in a garage for 35 years. You're worried about them for 3 years?
Agreed.
I mean,
yeah, so I'm hearing that the chairs and the flooring seem like a priority. The AV, I guess I'd question, just make sure what would we be looking at, but I think the carpet, the chairs make a lot of sense.
What's
Restroom, you wanna add a restroom, right? I mean, in theory, is kind of the talk.
That's it.
One restroom's kind of tight if we're staying.
Yep.
I think chairs and carpet, I hear consensus to move that up and take care of that this year. Lindsay will probably have them ordered by tomorrow at 9. But
We have budget or it'd be an amendment.
I think, the rest of it, as far as that goes, is a contingent, so I think it's probably fine on your fiscal year 28. If we're talking renovation, broader renovation.
My
Is that
other question
consensus
would
there?
be, You have paint exterior windows, is that because they?
Yeah, that's-
Have degradation, do
That's
they
the-
need to be painted now?
The west wall, the west windows are all,
Oh,
they're all wood exterior.
that seems simple enough if worried about degradation.
What's west sorry, are we good there on that one?
Yeah.
Sue, Ken, Joel, you guys get on that
There
one?
was a consensus for flooring in the back and chairs, right?
Yep,
yeah,
Yeah, do the, maybe not a new bathroom, that kind of thing, but the reasonable
Yeah.
thing, just to keep it.
If Lindsay wants to get on that tomorrow, but
yeah. What's
She's already
this,
working on it.
repave west driveway? Is this behind City Hall we're talking about? This driveway here? Jerry, is that repave west driveway? Is that right here?
Yeah, and that
And
could be
generator,
tied in with
okay.
a renovation.
Yeah, so I would say, in my opinion, and I'm curious what council's thoughts are, but like repave west generator and that, I would align that with the rest of the City Hall project, if that's to be discussed at some point. Versus being it before, then
Think
the,
about if we need a west driveway.
how will they drop off their water bills?
We don't have to have a vehicle accessible water bill.
I agree. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it could go away.
Yeah, it would be low in my priority list in terms of the.
And that's down the road. That's not to decide now. It's just a question.
Low on your list, low on your list.
Yes. And agenda.
Consensusly low on,
And again, that kind of ties in with like what happened with the EMS. So if
Yep.
there was an addition put on for the EMS, that could be an access point.
Absolutely.
So that's why we put that in there.
Yep, yeah, so if that's how we choose to move forward with that, then it makes sense to do that, because you're gonna be doing kind of the same.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not in the best shape.
so I would, yeah, it sounds like we're coming to a little bit of combining of some of the items on the list.
Speaking of combining, we have several spots in several categories about security cameras. I
Yeah,
get it that you have to separate them out, but when it comes to actually implementing, I would guess there would be economies of scale to do everything at once.
Right, if
Yep.
there's support to do that.
I figured you were thinking that,
Yeah.
but you don't want us to,
Right.
security cameras.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like-
no,
I know.
so.
Yeah, the fire chief mentioned that too, for the firehouse.
talk to me about, I'm not familiar with, northeast area addition.
Is there anybody here with the fire department that can speak to that?
Yeah, and I wasn't at our. But the way I understood talking to Brandon. Some of the department is they're possibly down the road, and I don't know. When they have this.
Next year.
27.
Yep, 27.
I don't know, I'm.
It's to add an addition for storage of,
I think
A vehicle or-
Brian Can add more.
It's not a complete consensus with the department at this time.
okay,
It's kind of sprung on us. What I'm getting out of it is they wanna add another bay over there to put the 41 and the truck. And then extend our kitchen.
okay.
The reasoning is what I've heard.
Okay, so I think that's great. I think a little bit of concern if like the department's not consensus on it from an agenda item, like it seems like it maybe needs to be vetted out more there.
Oh, Adam.
So it needs to be vetted there. So I think we should,
Yeah, it needs to move down.
I think we should kick that down the road.
Yellow, I would maybe take it to an orange, honestly.
Okay,
As a council person, I would also say, I wanna see, before I would vote yay or nay with no opinions, I would wanna see data, tell me why you need more kitchen, tell me why you need
For sure.
stuff. Come to us with that.
In that same vein, a lot of these things I think are post comp plan. Because if we say we're gonna do a fire EMS station, then I wouldn't want to make investments in existing, so that's why I want to kind of prioritize where we're at.
yeah, I think that,
Knowing the bigger picture. Sure might be a mistake.
well, it pulls into that, but we can't do that overnight. So I think that's why this is starting somewhere.
No, but
I
you
think
gotta start
like the
somewhere.
fire and EMS building, I know it keeps coming up, but I think that ship's sailed. I think the department's pretty set. They want to be in their facility for another decade or more.
Oh, it's on the list.
Yep, and I think,
It's on the list because that's the only price that I had was for a joint fire.
You're talking about the existing location.
yeah, I just think we need to put on the table, like, fire has no desire to leave. They want to renovate and stay. That's consensus among the department.
We've decided
Chad
we can do just fine with what we line it wrong.
Chad needs a new facility for EMS, but I think the like combined building, I think there's not consensus between the two that like, yeah, we're gonna pursue that. Chad's needs have to be met, but I think, is that fair?
I agree with Craig though, on when you start getting into the comp plan, where's fire and EMS, should they eventually become under the same roof, I should say. one department, but come under the same roof and where are they gonna, where's the fire gonna go if they come 15 years down the road? Where, that type of thing, we should think about that in that comp plan. But I agree with that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think as we get through a comp plan in the next 12 months, we'll maybe look more at what our population growth is projected to be and some
Right.
things like that and analyze that. But right now, I think with the knowledge we have, it's like that project is not a priority.
Right, yeah, the only reason why.
EMS improvements are a priority.
That's what our plan was, and that was what the
Yep.
ballpark was given to me, so I didn't have a way to say.
I just wanna- Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear, right? That there's not ambiguity, because it's like, I'm hearing from fire, we're done on that deal. So it's not really a priority at this point.
And so was there consensus then to move the fire?
Fire Northeast Edition and
to
Cam,
28?
well, at least Northeast Edition, I'm hearing move out to Orange
Yeah.
or beyond or whatever.
I was gonna say the same thing for the paving right below it is until we have a comp plan done. So I'm assuming the numbers on the new sheet were 210 for the paving.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say about the paving is, which I would say is a priority, is the traffic that comes from the school to the library. There is no, when it's rainy and it's wet and it's winter, that parking lot is totally soppy, wet, a mess. At a minimum, we should get some sort of sidewalk connector that goes across there so that kids can transition.
That would definitely benefit everybody in that.
I mean, I can't imagine what gets pulled into the library from dirt, but because there is no,
Yeah, I'm not against sidewalk.
They're down the street.
200,000 on paving the whole area.
yeah,
That's what I was pushing back on. If that's not a long-term solution, then
so so we've moved addition in consensus, the paving and parking lot and those things. Are we consensus that that's not a next year priority probably? It's more down the road.
28 also.
So would, like
post
where
comp
the,
plan.
where there's parking for the library basically off the alley now. If there was a sidewalk at the front of that, would that?
There
incorporate the
is.
Parking barriers, is there?
When you
sidewalk
park
there?
facing north, there is a sidewalk that goes back around the building that is there. There's not a sidewalk that goes from the building south to Main Street.
Right,
But there is some parking, or there is some, and to be honest, that tree could be cut down and that parking could be, I mean, it could be extended a little bit there. That would help with 2 or 3 more spots to that telephone pole. But there is some sidewalk there, but I think sidewalk,
No,
I
it's
feel like
not.
when I parked there and I would have to go, look, where you park, there's quite a you're gonna walk several steps from your car up through the wet grass up. to the
Yeah.
side.
I'm assuming you're paving, yeah, it goes rock to the sidewalk now.
Okay.
Unless you park on the far west end of that, then yeah, because the sidewalk kind of comes in and then it angles towards the back.
There's room for what? Cars there, Jim?
Oh, I think you might be able to get more than that.
Maybe six.
If you get rid of that tree, you might be able to get 8 or 9.
Yeah, right now there's.
But your paving would be when you get, when this got thrown on the list, is it from that sidewalk basically to the fire station building?
Yeah, yeah.
all the way alley and everything, so.
Yeah, yes.
So it'd be truck.
Okay. Yeah, I think a sidewalk extension feels like a higher, like maybe, yeah, we should get that into next year, but I feel like paving the whole alley, with an addition and all, like, what's it?
If I was to do a sidewalk, I would definitely then do at least the approach.
Yeah, do the approach and the sidewalk. That way then you just fill back in.
You're hitting pavement.
Right, you don't have a,
Yeah,
Yep,
or a plow to hit.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
they'll take out the sidewalk.
that makes sense to me. Paved parking lot moving to 28, consensus here?
Yep.
Okay, and Mark and, we'll look at the approach and the sidewalk kind of in the back of your head as a smaller, more
Yeah, that's a
urgent.
Smaller project that might,
More
maybe we'll
urgent.
Leave that in the 27, I don't know.
So then,
I'm jumping all the way up to the parks on top, the 3rd and 4th lines. I would like us to have a much better plan before we start putting things in. I know it's out in 28. But we haven't done a justification. What's the usage of the existing? We don't have a firm plan in place. We don't have funding. So we've been kind of just doing a piece at a time, but it'd be great to have the full plan for the park before we continue. But in my opinion,
Those are 2 years out, correct?
yeah, that's 28, but I think there's some other ones that are sooner. This park is scattered out here. The sports complex is scattered through all 3 pages of it.
Yeah, I think my recollection of what council's approved is to get the soccer field seeded, so the grass was growing and what it took to do that. I think the irrigation is the stuff we paid for. This group voted unanimously, I think, to approve that. Water to it, irrigation, electric to run the irrigation. Right? That's kind of the extent of what your plan is.
That's our focus.
You've got to get that done to be able to irrigate in the spring and summer.
We need electric for irrigation.
Correct.
I don't disagree. I think that we need to have, we need to have a plan, an engineered plan and some official estimates on this stuff. But the thought being, we know when he's got this worksheet here, it's just, we're just piecemealing out. Here are the things we know that we're probably gonna need. Bathroom, concession, a maintenance structure, so we just added those in, so that's why it's scattered.
Yeah,
I thought we had a plan from.
All in all, I mean, that project is a priority, I guess, for us. So one way or another, yeah, I mean, so if it's confusing, I apologize. It was just, he was just like, what do you guys need for buildings? So here's what we've got.
And maybe it's clear to you, but I've been on here a year and a half and I still haven't seen the usage of the existing parks, who's using it, how often they demanded, all those things before we spend. You know, the only quote I have right now is $6.5 million. That's a hell of a price tag. And so I think we need to make sure that this is who's using it. And I know, I've heard a lot of pushback, that's not the real number, that's the only one I got.
Yeah.
So I need to see usage of our existing parks. Who's using them, how many are using them? I
That
don't-
6.5 million is a real number if you were to go, hey, hire everything done.
Yeah,
Right.
If you went
That's the
out,
last number we got.
if you went out from the start
Yeah.
and
Did the
presented
whole
this
thing.
project and had it engineered and went to a contractor to put this thing together in a year, it would have been $6 million.
That
But
was not my.
if I
number,
thought
that
that's the
the
way it was.
engineer.
Didn't Shire Associates provide that?
we'd have never took the
It's gonna
land.
be dirt.
Yeah, we'd never took the land.
But it's,
And that was a
Yeah,
paved,
was that-
that was a paved parking lot.
Maybe. I don't know,
I'm pretty sure there was a paved parking lot in that.
but yeah, that was a Snyder number.
300 cars.
Get everything done, put it out for bid, that was their engineered.
To do everything.
Yeah.
and yeah, I've been told that repeatedly, but I still don't have anything else.
Well, I think what council's empowered Marker approved is like, get the soccer field so there's a grass field out there, because the soccer, Ballard Soccer
really is
Club has been
actually the
begging.
first That needs to happen.
One of the
They,
lowest
they
costs.
just don't have the space, and so, I mean, those clubs can get you numbers. I mean, I was able to get numbers for Southside usage. Those clubs can get you numbers. I can get numbers probably, but we need to probably be a little bit more thoughtful about the usage data, if we're gonna, put that together, and I agree with that as well. But, so yes, soccer absolutely is needed right now. So as soon as we can get that in, great. And
You also got a $75,000 grant, that there was a grant that got written that was for 75 grand. That the grant was written with the intention of pathways, or
right,
which we'll have to deliver on that grant.
Irrigation,
right.
that's what I.
And we need to find the details on what that grant was, but there should have been 75 grand that got deposited for that project.
We think there was a REIT and one from the.
It was a supplemental grant.
Oh,
The county was 168, because I was a part of getting that one. The 75 was written saying we would utilize it for the pathways through that park, connector pathways or something.
Did you say 168,000?
Came from the county.
168.
Trails or whatever you want.
Yep. But then there was 75 that was the REAP, I think, and
These were
that
awarded.
was, huh?
these were awarded?
These were awarded to us.
I think she ever told me that.
That's.
Well, there was, and we need to get to the bottom of what we committed to do in that grant to make sure if we need to put sidewalks in, that we use the grant dollars to put as much as we can in so we don't lose it.
I think the one was up until like a year from now.
So we do need to look that up and find that. Because that would be so from a plan perspective, just to be clear, my understanding is soccer fields are going in, we gotta do to get the irrigation in. The only other component that would be getting, that at this point is in the plan, is the grant dollars being utilized in the way that it was written to be done, which is the trail pathways,
Yeah, like-
which Snyder has engineered and designed. Beyond that, I think where you get to is you get to a point where we essentially need to bid the project out for all the ball field construction and determine whether we wanna outsource all of that, or whether we wanna piece it together, or whether we wanna pause, whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
But we've made a commitment to the Weekses that we would build baseball fields there when we accepted 18 acres. So we do have to deliver that.
Yeah, baseball's gotta be there eventually.
We made that commitment 12 years ago to build baseball fields.
Where is that commitment?
Just talk to Craig and Julie Weeks, their face.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know,
Okay.
I don't,
I wasn't.
I never saw anything signed,
I mean, I would like to
You
see
know,
that,
like
because
previous
otherwise we're
council.
holding different standards. Jen has had to do an enormous amount of justification with that community surveys. There's been all kinds of things.
I don't think there was anything in writing.
You don't think there was back then?
I
I was here at those meetings.
It could have been, but I think it was one of those things that we'll donate it if it'll be baseball diamonds, and we said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It'll be baseball diamonds.
Just like all of our original, a lot of contracts in a town like this.
I've heard.
Verbal.
Well, it was originally baseball,
It was originally based.
and they were okay with soccer,
so
so.
I think we pushed
But it-
the soccer, I
Yeah.
mean, it makes
They
no
originally
sense to me to
didn't
build
want
a.
Right,
They weren't ball, they weren't baseball.
It was all baseball to begin with.
Well, we can look back.
And I think this is just to remember, we're talking about,
There, I know I've talked to Craig,
Yeah.
he's good at soccer.
Yep.
He just wants it. Obviously, the kids to play.
well, and I think part of the idea when they gave that donation was it'd be a catalyst to their development. So regardless of what the commitment was, we're talking about 2028. And just like you've said in the past, we can't undo what previous councils did. The data request is fair, but we're talking about something that we're gonna execute in 2028. So I think tonight, the debate of are we gonna build ball fields or not, isn't the discussion.
Right.
As much as you want the plan is finish the irrigation, get the sidewalks in as the grant requires.
Which I'm fine.
Then we
with
get
that,
into our
but
planning discussion.
Rather than going by recollections, I'd rather see what commitment we made.
I feel the same
We can
way.
check.
Otherwise.
I feel the same way about the other project.
You got a $6 million commitment on.
Is Craig Weeks coming up here telling you what he said? Is that good enough?
I'd like to see it in print,
I
otherwise.
bet you won't.
I don't think there was,
Yeah, I think
I've never seen anything written.
Well, that's a lot of things. I mean,
Minutes.
there's a lot of that with a lot of projects we've done, but I just wanna reiterate. We're in agreement. We're getting the trails in, we're getting the trail in, we're getting the irrigation, and that's what we've committed to, and the trails to the 75 grand. For tonight's discussion, we stop there, and this will
Okay.
be a part of capital planning
All right,
in further discussions.
okay, because it's in here a lot, so I got the same comment of justification.
If
Well-
you, the data and the plan is all part of it. I
Okay.
mean, again, we
Yeah.
just piecemealed out to fit the sections.
So, exactly.
Right, I mean, yes,
I think we're just trying, and I think the other factor in it too is, which I know this has been talked about. This project was never pursued because it was told to this project that they can't pursue this project until the community center library was done. And so this project has been put on hold in our small community trying to execute.
Your chance to.
Right, it's been, it's just.
They've been trying to get another, we've collectively been trying to get another project done, so this project wasn't ever, there's never been a fundraising effort for
I
it.
didn't know, I mean, I initially started to put together a fundraising committee but when that facility came on, it was just, we're just gonna back out for a little while. So yeah, if we've got ground and we can start making steps, we're willing to do that.
So we'll revisit this
Yep, as long.
bigger portion in
Yeah.
20.
As long as we.
Yeah.
Committed to finishing what we already started, but then.
I hate to go back up the list, but.
Yep.
One thing we kind of bypassed was Nighthawk Field dugouts, and that's,
Can we move that up to green since we took away demo cabin?
Well,
More.
I think a lot of that goes back to that discussion in agreement with the school, that if they need to be, we need to know that they're gonna be committed to those
Right.
and commit money to it. But then I think if we get that commitment, then I'd like to see that moved up
faster.
faster.
I agree, but
Yeah.
And there's,
I just didn't wanna move. I don't like going backwards up the list.
Yeah.
But,
No, you're good.
We're still on
You're good,
buildings.
you're good. I agree. I think the Nighthawk Field's a priority for all of us. I think it's just kind of where do we get the most relationship value? Like, is improving the dugouts help us keep them longer, or does improving the infield help us keep us longer?
Mm.
That's a discussion that we need to get joint with them. And we really probably need their cost sharing. I mean, we need their financial support to some of that too, or deserve it at least, I
Yes,
think.
I completely agree. That's what we talked about last year when we signed off on the 1-year agreement. And that's why I wanted to have a firm agreement this year before we did it again.
Yeah.
So I guess I am really resistant to investing more money in the field until they commit.
I agree.
Right now, they don't want to commit.
As long as it's not gonna fall in, I agree, right? Like, we gotta preserve it, but
The infield?
or
Oh,
the dugouts.
Dugouts.
I mean, they'll make it another season.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, they've made it this long.
yeah.
So I think
They're far
we're,
past the use.
yeah, we're contingent on it.
Damn and they've been like that.
There's just a little bit of heaving and
I think the ball's in their court.
I think there might be some money spent on seeding in the dugouts, but that's fairly normal.
Okay, because I'm fine investing in the ball field as long as they're committed.
Right.
But otherwise, if it just turns into a park and rec field, then we
Yeah,
need
then
No, we don't.
dugouts for a park and rec field.
you don't need it for a dozen games for Old Guy League.
Yeah,
They'll last. No.
yeah.
No,
So,
it's not the right size for Little League, so.
so I feel like 27's maybe in a more appropriate, we're in a good spot there on
Yeah.
that projection.
If the schools want to commit, then that's fine, but.
Yeah,
I'd
if
like
they,
them to
yeah,
commit.
if they were willing to commit and we could put some dugouts up in the spring.
Your
I'd
league is
Stay. I think it makes sense to stay where it's at right now. I mean, and maybe it moves up if you get a commitment or a partnership, it moves back if you don't. Let's talk about if we're moving down the list, does anybody have questions about the affluent building repair?
Yes, what is that?
Mark, do you want to speak to that quick?
It's not, it's an effluent.
Sorry, effluent. But you are effluent,
What's that?
but you are affluent.
He's a-
No, he's affluent.
Is that-
He's not effluent.
So.
Moving on.
My pronunciation wasn't-
English.
You want this all down, Lizzie?
I am. I'm gonna put this in.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that is it's a structure that was built in 2004, the concrete structure, no roof, no nothing like that. It's a valving station that. Basically, we got an inspection a week and a half, 2 weeks ago by the DNR, and that was on their list. The bolts were literally in the ground or in the concrete about 6 inches. We're talking 18-inch valves that, on a crank. And the bolts have just basically ripped the concrete. They poured it too close, just bad, 100% bad structural design.
Design and, yeah.
So we're looking at, it's gonna have to get redone. I mean, pour some concrete, longer bolts, maybe get somebody out there to weld or take it somewhere where we can add structure to it and make it where it's gonna last. So it's something that's gonna have to be done.
It's a DNR request. It was in a letter from the DNR. And I would just turn your also attention to under sanitary sewer, there is a fencing. I know I'm jumping to it, but that is also a byproduct of the same DNR inspection meeting. So we'll get to that later, but
So who designed this structure? Snyder back in the day,
Snyder in 04. It was when the air got put in.
so I'm wondering, they designed this solution too?
I doubt, no.
Okay,
this won't be a design solution.
This will be,
there's $2,000 with an E on it, I assume that was engineering.
we talked to Mark a little bit.
So they're gonna-
I mean, I met
Sure.
with,
But this is a budget item that's way underneath our threshold for purchasing.
yeah, I met.
So
with
Mark
him.
can do that.
Actually, we met with Sam today just to kind of get his 2 cents worth and what.
Sounds like it needs to be done, it's just,
It probably is not a $12,000 item when you're said and done either, right?
We hope not be, you never know.
Yeah.
That was one that. Worst case scenario, I think that's a worst case scenario number, for sure.
Okay,
so moving that to 26.
I'd say right now, anytime.
That's about, so right now it's 7, right?
No,
That's one that,
26 would mean you're gonna do it
27.
yet this spring, but yeah,
Is that what you're
from
saying?
now to June,
yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna try to
I
do it
was like,
sooner.
Yeah,
Right, so that's what I'm saying, is that moves a year?
No, I'm just making sure we're all on the same page.
So that needs to go to green, Jerry. Lindsay,
The vehicle bay, city hall, old
Yeah.
library, and I'm just trying to move kind of down the list if we're.
yep, let's talk to that. That's an alternative proposal of some sort for related to EMS, is that right?
Correct. like an addition.
We've talked about that before. I mean, I think that's probably the most expedient way to get somewhere where we're making progress. Chad, is that a fair?
It's a stopgap.
Yes.
Get us away from the Nighthawk, get us where we're not trudging through the
Mhm.
parking lot.
Yep.
Not having to move our equipment for training and.
When then you've got access to this building with a room to meet in and a bathroom and. So,
Where do you park when you respond to a call?
Up here,
In front of the water plant.
Huh?
no, right.
Now, if it was up here, if it was up here,
On the street where we'd have to park. Unless there's.
what's your thoughts on that? I mean, you say stopgap, but just help us stopgap,
Range, like if we
it
did.
can
an
get us a
addition,
year or
how long?
two, or it can get
You
us
see that
5
for
years, or maybe
5 years,
10,
10
or
years?
what can it get you?
Well, I guess it depends on when you guys say that the priority of a EMS building is gonna be.
Well, I think I would dilute it back maybe to more the discussion of rather than building or addition here, what do you need? What do you need?
What do
In
I,
your planning and the stuff you've done, what do you need from a space standpoint?
square footage, or you want items like, I need climate controlled bays, I need a place to store equipment, I need a place for the office, I need a place for a meeting room, training room, and other places that we can. Really store most of them, I mean, you shouldn't have storage of your medical equipment separate from just your uniforms and all the other stuff, and so we need to have places we can do that instead of a garage.
Okay,
Of that.
so when you imagine that from a square footage standpoint. I know I'm putting you on the spot, I'm just,
Um,
You need a 2 or 3 car garage for equipment and then a decent meeting space, storage space. The whole
Yeah.
thing air conditioned.
I mean, when we're going through that process, that was supposed to be a 50-year building for fire and EMS, so we planned in meeting rooms, a place for, um. A place for a kitchen we had separate offices, we had places upstairs for storage, we had the future vision of. If we're gonna need sleep rooms for being able to eventually respond out of there instead of a 5 or 6 minute delay for us to get in there to get to our equipment to then go to somebody's house. So we're trying to think down the road when we were doing it. So that was a lot of brainstorming between the two different departments of what we needed. Even though fire said that they probably wouldn't need sleep rooms, but EMS will probably need them before fire. Being able to respond in an adequate amount of time. But,
Like a 30 by 40 building, I mean, any size?
I'm guessing 40 by 60, when you got 2 or 3
I was gonna
vehicles
say-
plus.
yeah, we're gonna have,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so just get.
we had 2 bays on that design. We had 2 bays and they're long enough. They're the same size as the fire side. So you had 2 trucks, that's probably what, 100-ish? How deep was that?
Well, we were 70.
70, okay, 7-ish,
70 or 75.
so. And then you probably had the same equipment or same equivalent of those 2 bays. If you doubled it over is what you had for our offices.
so that's like 1,800 square feet roughly or something in there. But you got the meeting room here.
Well, one of the times we were talking, just again, kind of a brainstorming thing was just going to if you took this building and extended and took out that parking lot for what would be an EMS, you've got a meeting room there, you've got at least 1 bathroom, but you really need a shower. Added into it somewhere along the line and
Does the group feel like it's consensus that an EMS solution is a high priority?
Right now, it's having a priority on there, so.
I agree on that, I'm not sure I agree on this.
yeah.
Cause.
I'm ambivalent about that, except that, yes, I mean, what it would do is if we use part of this building to put a, couple of bays on and some of those needs and remodel this enough to do that, even if we just contain it to that end of the building, is then you sort of commit this building to not being sold, as part of the library community center, if that were to continue on that path that we planned up to this point. So that's the big hesitancy, but you don't have a lot of other locations or options that.
Well, we also like talked about, does those bays put any added value to this building? And I don't know if it necessarily would help sell it or anything like that. Kind of like the same, another one here was paving the lot in front of where we're at right now. That would give any use out of it for public works and so on and so forth. Cause we didn't want to throw a bunch of money into a project
C1 is owned.
if we're not gonna get long-term gain out of it. So that's why a lot of our projects haven't been able to move.
Right.
My other concern here is with all the traffic we have, at the two businesses.
When we trade one bar problem with another bar problem.
That's what I'm worried about, is you'll have people parking in front of your damn doors again, we need to get out. Cause I
We thought about that.
agree, you need something.
Not that rolled off my tongue real fast. But yeah.
Well, it seems like the quickest, most viable option
Yeah,
presentable.
and that's why I say
presented at this point would be that.
It's an asset that the city owns.
Some more space where we can.
Right.
Start functioning a little bit better. I mean,
What would-
our future plans of being able to carry all the equipment we're really supposed to be carrying, like backboards and stuff like that, we can't do in our current vehicle. We have no room to carry that and so on and so forth, so we can't get a bigger vehicle until we have a garage or a facility that we can actually get the vehicle in, since it has to be climate controlled because of our mitigations.
Yeah,
A lot of the stuff that there's a pyramid.
what does council feel, thoughts?
I am supportive of the idea, you guys need something better. I'm not supportive of here, and I don't know if that means we got a delay for the comp plan or what do we have, cause I don't have a great solution, obviously.
Again, I mean, I would refer to this as, doing something with this building as a long-term stopgap. As opposed to a short-term stopgap, if you wanna call it something. Another wild idea would be what, like the north side of I'm throwing wild ideas out there, different groups. North side of the fire department, if you ran a bay running the same, running east-west at that north side, continue the roof down and you'd have potentially a truck that would go east and a truck that could come west out of that building with some storage in between and access into the fire department. Again, that may or may not be optimal, but it might be a longer term stopgap that would, then now you don't have any place for firemen to park when they come in to run. You don't have any place for them
Or
to park,
EMS,
but
and if we're both on something, now you got.
100%.
Additional 10%.
100%. I can't solve all the world's problems
No.
and
There's not a really good solution for everything.
absolutely not. But for me, that might be a long-term stopgap, something to work in the real immediate short term with the fire department, if that's not interfering with too much work that the fire department does, as a means of getting that. And then obviously if we can get a more intermediate term plan to get a better long-term EMS building put together or something like that, then maybe the fire department can take those bays over for some of their needs for other trucks or something as well, but.
I mean, not only because we were waiting for the library community center to get done. One of the reasons why we stopped on our process is that we needed to get the land allocated, or we needed to determine what the council wanted for. Or where we wanted to go.
Right.
All of our planning has been on the thought process of the bank lot, because that was the only big enough city lot that we had available. So when the city wasn't willing or didn't feel it was right to allocate that to a project, you can't really go to an engineer and say, hey, give me an engineered cost with this, and they want to do elevation costs and all that other stuff. It's like, yeah, it's somewhere in the city limits. That's not, they laugh at you.
Yeah,
So. So if you want to allocate land, then we can at least start going forward and saying what we need for our building and go from there.
This is a bit of a tangent, but I did some looking at what equipment was required for a town of 2,500 for a fire department. And I guess that's something I would really like to look into, is the amount of equipment we got seems high, but I don't understand that equipment well. That's one of the questions I had is we need a comprehensive capital list of what we have now. I am all for a strong fire department, but do we also have more equipment that we need, because we have stuff? Just looking at the trucks we have, it seems like we've acquired new without getting rid of old. And is that space that we actually could be using for EMS? And I don't know enough about EMS or about fire. But it seems like something we should discuss of what's the best sharing of the equipment we have in the short term until we have a long term better. How often are our fire trucks going out? Do we need all the fire trucks?
Just
I
when
don't-
you need them,
What's that?
only when you need them.
Yeah.
And you don't have them, yeah.
But I would argue the same thing for EMS. And they're in a terrible situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to take anything away from what the fire guys have. I mean, they've got.
Mhm.
They've got it every, well, they've got their trucks for what they need. Have they kept like a tanker around because they can do whatever on? Maybe they have.
Well, at some point, the used value, the used value is worth
Yeah.
nothing versus sitting in your shop. Usable is better than not
And
having
then
it.
you need another 1,500 gallons of water or whatever, and it.
You at least got the truck. I feel
But
like the fire department,
if you continue to maintain equipment there, it has a cost. Does it have a benefit? So there's two sides. to it.
yeah, certainly, and that's where I think you defer to the experts, you know, and you let them kind of make their decisions, and I think they have a fire board, right? And they make decisions and hold the strategy. We can adjust the funding that we give to that if we don't agree with the strategy, but I guess my understanding of the way our government works is we don't really set the fire strategy. We control funding that we give to them, but if they wanna hold on to all the trucks they want.
Player fire department ever gaining another apparatus.
And they haven't held on to anything
Not,
except for the old.
The old tanker, is that the only thing?
we
Yeah.
gained when we bought the other company,
Okay.
but other than that, we've never gained.
In
Yeah.
what year? 2003?
I say.
Yeah.
I
Or
remember
nothing
Yeah.
recent.
anything.
Yeah,
that
and-
ages.
and knew it's
The
coming,
last two trucks have been replaced, or.
something else is gone, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we will never. Yeah, we don't have any room for one, plus we don't need them anymore, at least we.
You guys are amazing, he's not gonna get a tiller?
Yeah. Be fun. We'll do-
yeah, I think as you look at it, you know, I think the EMS thing is something that's gonna take some work. To figure out what gets done or what makes the most sense. Comprehensive plan maybe dovetails into some of that. But I would think, you know, EMS needs to be like, hey, we can't kick this can down the road anymore. This is a service that our community is only gonna need more of in the future. And so what and how we accommodate that has to be dealt with. And if, you know, we're 3 to 4 years away from building the potential community center and library, well, does that mean you're 5 to 6 away from building the brand new, nice EMS building somewhere or acquiring land or figuring that out? I don't think we have the time to kick it down the road that far. So I think it should be,
I
yeah,
only want to take it down the can until we have a comp plan and figure it out. That's a combination of everything.
Have we talked about getting rid of the triangle lot, the dump lot down there?
figuring out where to move dump lot and what to do.
That's on the list, storage.
Yeah, but that could.
Be.
uh,
That could be, yeah.
that could-
I feel like this, an addition here is really, is like totally viable and it's shared spaces, common. It makes sense if it lasts you 3 years while you build a new facility and public work, you know, I think that's gonna be the most cost effective, quickest way to do it. But I understand that there's some resistance or thought process to that because there's a theory to move City Hall there and sell this building. So I get that.
It could be a shared facility too, like with senior center or something like that. Potentially.
Financially, that seems like the best. So what, do you guys wanna put this on 27?
It's on 27.
Oh, I don't see it. Oh, okay, sorry. You wanna keep it there and
I'm fine.
Ken, Sue and Sean are like, yeah, that sounds great. You guys get that figured out.
We thought about it.
I'm fine with
I
27.
mean, I think you leave it there, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, I mean.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Keep it as a priority.
all right.
Because that gets us through the vote for the CCL and it gets us through the comp plan. Hopefully.
I mean, he makes a point. Figure out a spot. that The city owns land, and if this is re-envisioned as an EMS space, I don't see why some of the land up here couldn't suffice. With a pole building to get him what he needs to get him away from it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that happen sooner than later.
That would be done. You know, you can do non-combustible or just a straight up pole building and do it in a tasteful way and
Absolutely.
it still makes sense and you can put it on one of these lots.
If you Like, where in the process do you have to be to get grant stuff going possible?
I don't know.
Okay.
Cause originally the grants that we were seeing were fire and EMS, so
Yeah.
I had to see where we still qualify.
Yeah.
EMS.
Yeah.
Same.
They're gonna wanna know like what property.
Yeah.
What, where,
Yeah.
What's your building plan?
What's your building
These are
site?
things that comp plan could help us think about, you know, is the best place here, is the best place over there? Is it at another location around town that we haven't thought about?
no, I agree for sure. I think any building underneath buildings is the same thing.
So can only do so much at once and, yes, we need a better facility.
Yeah.
And we would all like to be moving faster.
Yeah, I'm afraid of kicking all this to a comp plan because.
Yeah.
Because we spent an hour and we're not through the first part of this draft of a 3-page document. So, I hate to put anything off to a comp plan because that also is just an imagining process.
In
And that,
reality, we're all doing the comp plan. We're just gonna be in this same room doing this thing.
does the,
Community feedback.
you know, I kind of go
Study.
back to the idea that if you made a north bay along, because the roof line is high enough next to the fire department, then you're essentially merged, you know, whatever you want to call it, with the fire department, you might still qualify for some more grants than you would if you're a standalone facility. So I think that's probably warrants the next meetings together if there's any consensus or wiggle room for that. But that, again, starts with a wild idea. But
We'd have to see how that would.
I think the only thing about that is the meeting space is pretty poor in the fire department to begin with, you know, so you like,
Yeah, their meeting room here is lined with.
you know, two garage bays here are not the dream, but it's an exclusive facility with,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying is it's two garage bays there is, it's not a dream, but you got your own private meeting room and
We have one right here in this building.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought.
That's what I'm saying is two garage bays right here. Two garage bays right here at the end of this building is way better than where they're at, and they have exclusive meeting room area. Versus, I think that building doesn't have great quality meeting room. You guys pull a truck out to meet, don't you?
whatever.
Around that little.
Pretty sure they pull a truck out to have a meeting.
Yeah, and I've looked at what you're talking about. I'm actually much more supportive of that than here, because there's enough length, they can actually put. Supporting facilities, conference room, those kind of things, to the west and doors to the east. That's a 60-foot building, you need somewhere around that 30 by 30 for 2 vehicles. That leaves you a lot of opportunity to the west.
Yeah,
Still got,
Meetings for bathrooms, for other things. And if that's where fire's gonna stay long term.
trucks coming out of, so.
I'm just talking the new machine.
Yeah.
Right.
Just that part.
well, the other component is, I think we just have to be honest about is, it depends on whether the fire board has a desire to merge with the EMS and EMS has a desire to merge with them. Before we start building a joint facility for two entities that are gonna be in a shared space.
It would be under one roof, and I don't,
Doesn't mean.
I'm not gonna speak for I'll speak for myself, I wouldn't mind under one roof. They want a locked facility, which is good. Great. I mean, we're just looking at a map here, I mean, I think there can be some discussion on what can. and
Yeah.
Again, that's an off the top,
Yeah,
there was no
no.
thought process to that before I walked in this room, so.
But you need more meeting space then. That has to come with it.
What, are you looking at me?
You put EMS up there, you need more meeting space, you need
Well,
bigger meeting
They're
space.
separate meetings.
Yeah,
So-
there's separate.
But your meeting space down there today is how's quality is your meeting space, training space?
It works.
Exactly,
You guys pull out.
That's the answer.
exactly. It's not good.
You do if you're gonna do anything.
I live across the street. I see it every
meeting,
like,
them trucks.
there isn't room there to have a professional meeting, really. It's
But if it's meeting their needs that they're stating, we need to not push.
I mean,
our
and I don't know if Slater Fire Department will ever gain more than, we're at 30 members between, active and reserve. I don't think you ever get above that just because you can only have so many, I just don't see it growing, and it's harder and harder to find volunteers anyway.
yeah,
I don't see your numbers growing that.
so we're keeping on 27. Yeah,
Yeah,
We've been through a handful of those down there. Library, community, city hall, are we feeling like the access to the local sales tax dollars to potentially use as a funding source is contingent on how that proceeds?
I think so. I don't know that we had, I don't know that we have a lot of other options. You know, let's just keep grinding on a bond issue.
Yeah.
I don't think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think when you look at that one, you know, it's like, just like the sports complex, you know, this one's a $6.8 million project. Do you know, is it viable to execute even if local sales tax passes, do you get a $6.8 million project out of that? And based on, you were saying 3 years, so that's more of is that more of a fiscal year 28?
It depends on how
Everything depends
I'm
on
using my opinion, but it depends upon if the vote goes through. I think they need to really start firming up some numbers as to what real cost is on a real building and see how close we get. I am suspicious that maybe the first quote they got from FEH is too high, but that's just my own opinion.
Well, it was Hinkle, right? It was an actual general contractor that gave the first quote.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
6.8,
That-
yeah.
That worked with FEH, but they've had a couple different numbers that are substantially different, so to get some of the noise out of the system, maybe they're a lot closer than we think they are.
All right,
Well, yeah, the sales tax thing, if that doesn't pass, it's gonna handicap this, like, this whole board for the future from community library, EMS, and fire. I mean, your ability to raise money for any of those things are gonna be hamstrung without that. And I think that's
probably
that's
already.
a message that we need to get out better to the community before November.
Probably already are though, you know, because either way, you take a bond and now you got a serviceable debt and you gotta find that money to
Right, but other than that. you know,
backfill the budget
The
on that.
only other way you have backfill that is with property taxes, which the community.
We're already at the highest levy.
Against, yeah,
Well,
so,
we can't levy any more
right,
general property tax. We
Right.
can levy more in other
I'm
categories.
just saying that needs to be put out. More in the forefront to the community to know that that's gonna hamstring anything that's gonna happen in this community for fundraising without
it's
a
not-
new source of, without. Call it new, but it's not new, because that's how we've been using it. I mean, that's where what's been worked on the ball diamonds has all come out of that, essentially come out of that sales.
Yeah.
tax. And so have numerous other projects and equipment that we bought over the
Well,
years.
shoot, 100
Come out of
and
that.
some thousand of the library fund is that,
That's what I'm
that
saying.
money. Yeah,
But I just think
It's not
that's
really a change, it's a change in.
terminology. Well, it's just,
terminology.
yeah, if you
But
don't
it's not-
change the terminology, you can't bond against it.
yeah,
You
we
can
had to
still use
live,
it.
we had to live within our means in the budget year with it this way. If you
Right.
change it, then you can
Yeah.
commit those for
Yeah.
years ahead
Yeah.
and use them immediately.
Yes.
And it's actually worse than you think, because if you look at the trend lines on our property taxes versus our lost. The lost is expanding faster than property taxes, so our net, if we have to put it all against property tax. Will reduce our property tax. Quickly,
Reduce our property tax.
reduce the property tax income. Cause we'll have to take the lost.
I got lost.
Cause
I'm lost.
there's two lines, loss is going this way and property tax is going this way.
Yeah.
If we have to dedicate it all to property tax relief,
We'll get less property
our
tax.
property taxes, the net property taxes we gain will go down. So
It won't, yeah, except it doesn't affect the property tax numbers. That it's a ratio that'll go down, but it isn't real numbers because the property tax. But property tax is gonna go down one way or the other because the
Legislature's gonna do that.
legislature that's in there now is made it very clear. They're dedicated to knocking that down next.
so
So
this will very much. Be a problem.
it won't change the problem. Cause the money's coming one way or the other.
No.
It's
because
not gonna
lost- the
decrease
lost would
the
have to
income from
decrease.
property tax.
He's
Yeah, the
saying,
lost would have to come out of the property
I
tax.
think he's saying if you use the loss just as a offset against what your yearly budget is, then the lost, and now you have less millage needs. your millage goes down because you have so much loss.
Yeah. Okay.
But
This
we
is
have,
argument
yeah,
for the
that's,
day.
I think that's a deeper, different topic, yeah. So
Streets.
we got park maintenance, we got Nelson Park restrooms, we've covered, Park, Southside and 28, no concerns there. Land, I think we all agree on that. Streets,
Only one question, the south side. 600K out in 28. John, looking at you,
Shelter restriction.
Outside.
I just adding,
Yeah, shelter.
yep,
Shelter,
last one on the buildings.
Small restroom
the,
at south side with
So there was-
future development plans down there.
Yeah.
With the whole, I mean, there's been a lot of things discussed. Expanding soccer down there, pickleball court. Increased parking, you know, trying to make it more ADA accessible. That sort of thing, with the idea being that south side is where growth is, at least currently.
and that
And-
640 includes getting water, sewer, Mark, how close are we?
I would just say, just real,
idea.
Just-
Again,
As far as that amount, no clue.
for the sake of some of the time, because back to the point that you brought up and others, there's gonna be a comprehensive plan that we develop in this time frame. Anything that's orange, unless you feel like, in my opinion, it should be moved up, I think we should write off,
Table it.
because I don't know that it's, I think we should focus green, yellow, white.
but it.
I think we should focus there.
Year plan, I believe it was 10+ year annual plan in our old. Annual plan process, so
It'll evolve.
it's there, it's got a place, it's just been put in here because it's one of the buildings, so.
I think one thing, I was gonna say on the orange, let's just, unless there's a concern about moving it forward, because it's a higher priority, I think we should let them lie.
Yeah.
And then on the cemetery, the only thing I would like to see is, we've talked a lot about data. It would be really nice for this new staff to assess how many actual spaces are available in the cemetery we do have,
Well, and I think.
to understand how fast we need to think about that one.
Yeah, I would just curious about too, but I think we need to look at,
Yeah,
if we have owners of a property that are possibly willing to sell it,
Yes,
move
we
faster.
need to move faster.
absolutely, that's.
And even if we do the same kind of thing we did with leases out there where we buy the land or they give us the land, they farm it till we need it. But I think it's something we have.
We should address sooner.
Interested or willing to work with city that needs to be moved up.
Yeah,
Great idea.
So you can let your say friend to like how many. plots or
yeah,
so.
the public works storage yard, I know it maybe would end up being unpopular, but I think is today, and the dead end road right across from Craig. I know we have soccer fields down there and we have a little park down there. But in my mind, if you ever thought about expanding your public works footprint, expanding your public works down there on that dead end road right in front of the lagoon where it's a park today, which new equipment looks great. Nobody wants to go there right now based on odor. But to me, that dead end road there, like, if we get new soccer fields, getting rid of that soccer field and those parks and converting that into public works expansion.
I think there's a better, I think that's just a good green space. Truthfully.
Yeah, I just think from the logistics of there'll never, ever be residential traffic on that road
No.
outside of the few shed users. It makes it a separated private
Yeah,
spot.
I mean, public, building buildings there's too many utilities around there. I think you could utilize it as some sort of, staging area, which we don't have either.
But
as
maybe
far as-
move like the dump lot type thing
Yeah,
there.
maybe something like that, but I don't think as far as buildings and that, I don't think it's.
Yeah, and maybe that's not the case, but when you look at the storage yard, to me, it's like, that could make sense, cause
for
it's,
sure.
don't have a lot of
I mean,
residential
you're
traffic.
downhill, so it's-
You relocate the park to the east side at some point in your
I mean,
expansion or,
the east side is the easiest to get rid of.
For sure,
I mean, we got a playground, but
it can all be moved.
that can be moved.
yeah,
I agree, I mean, there's good ideas out floating in the ether about using this space to try
The
and
triangle.
make this more of a bike community and increase public space over here, so if we can get that moved easily, that'd be great.
In the land, we need to talk to the owner right beside your storage spot, if we're trying to do something in that triangle.
Yeah,
See if they
we
get-
could definitely talk to that guy. He's on our nuisance list and has been receiving letters from us, so
You mean talk at?
talk at. He's not, he's been unresponsive to the nuisance letters he's received about his property to the north.
Okay,
So they'll probably be at our next meeting, I assume, some sort of update or discussion about the next stage of nuisance. So I'm not sure how agreeable or discuss.
well, I'm not sure it's a good
anything.
idea, it's just if we're gonna try to sit with the
Under
triangle,
130.
having. both
Yeah.
properties,
We own that at one point, right? That lot that he's talking about
that's
to the
where we
east
did
of that was sold
Yeah,
to them.
390. They just-
Not by the city, somebody else.
It's under 130.
I think the city owned. Did we ever own it? Did the city own it at one point?
Not that I know.
I thought the city owned it at one point. Okay, streets.
While Mark's back in here, have you had any communication with any of the property around the cemetery owners?
A few years ago, that ended.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Owner on.
Okay, no feelings about where that would go or if it would go or?
No, you know, the one that farms it. He would just.
Like a square up?
Square, yeah,
Would you give us?
come west,
Yeah,
but that's it, that's not.
Yeah, that's not Slater city limits either, right? So then if we added ground there, we'd have to annex that. The part we added,
Yeah, the cemetery is added now, I mean, it's in.
but that farm ground where we're talking, maybe you're talking, is not the city of Slater today. Okay, good question.
So we're-
You could honestly, it sounds like feel them out a little bit for us again. If you felt like that was okay, otherwise. We can take that action from City Hall. Or anybody on council that knows him well enough.
So we're on street,
Yep,
it's a 600 lot. Four,
reconstruction Boone Street to Green Street, so.
okay, it's in terrible shape,
Mhm.
okay.
Throw that broken up concrete is and stuff as you go, so it's down towards sidewalk. From
Okay.
upwards.
Is that our worst street since it's in 27?
I would say yes.
Okay. Cause I get concerned about these stubs right here, North Mark.
Yeah, they're not great either. Let's say for they're North Story and North Marshall are probably the worst.
Yeah, those
I mean,
three,
and I would put probably the 600 block a little worse than them, but
okay.
they're a close second.
Those are kind of our more public spaces, so I guess that,
No,
Is it concerned?
600 block gets a lot of traffic,
okay,
summer, baseball, pool.
okay, good point.
Yeah.
So I guess my only question there is, does that need to be bigger?
Is that what leads right into?
Okay, good. Does that need to be expanded and include these stubs here?
Sure.
Mark will take as much money as he'll give him for streets.
No, what I'm asking, is that?
Yeah,
should
they're
be-
bad, for sure.
Well, I'm asking you guys.
Currently, the city's spending 50,000 for just general street maintenance, and that's pretty low number.
Yeah, this one was 250.
So if there's support from the council, we need to try to find some additional
I think-
revenue sources.
Find some money, that's how.
We shall.
Mark, I'm assuming there's efficiency to scale. If we can do a bigger project, it gets cheaper than
Yeah,
a bunch of small ones.
you bet.
The other ones obviously make sense.
And so the rest of these streets that are in orange, are those where you mill off the top and?
Not all. North Carroll is gravel. Right now,
Oh,
500 is gravel. Cedar Street to Main Street is non-existent. But nice addition,
Yeah,
you know, that's.
yeah, by the school,
Is that the cities?
We don't even have a right of way there.
Okay, I didn't know.
maybe a utility easement, sewer easement.
Utility there.
Yeah, the sewer's there. Yep.
Road right away.
That'd be,
That up, and that got developed.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there, isn't there?
Yeah.
What is obviously this council, I know citywide sidewalks are on there, but I think we need to do a little bit of research into like how you tackle that, because we have places where sidewalks are missing, but before we started adding sidewalk, we probably have a lot of sidewalk that needs fixed or repaired.
Well, I think that was kind of brought up in that last meeting too. Listen to that guy saying that if they trip and fall, it's a city issue. If they slip and fall, it's a
So land,
homeowner's
yeah.
issue. But I mean, we've got
trip and fall everywhere.
everywhere. What do we do about that? Does that go into our code enforcement? Does he start sending letters? These people saying,
Well, are we putting it on the homeowner to pay to repair it, or are we gonna do some sort of program or replacement strategy? I think is the first question I would ask. And then if it goes to the homeowner, then yeah, I suppose.
typically they do,
Then I suppose you give them X amount of time, and if not, the city hires it and.
hires it and you assess it, yeah.
I think there's some creative ways. I think first we have to decide what our priorities are. I personally don't think every place needs a sidewalk.
Agree.
Some places really do.
Yeah, but I think the ones that trip and fall is on the city, there needs to be something done about people not maintaining sidewalks.
And maybe we would offer some kind of a cost sharing measure.
Yeah.
Some people would say, no, I can't possibly afford that.
Yep,
I think people don't know how to take care of their sidewalks and
Yep.
a lot of people don't know about, you gotta edge it, and then your sidewalk narrows. Our primary, I know it's the street I live on, but come over to my house and I will walk you up Lynn Street.
Yeah.
It is atrocious.
This R38 study should encapsulate all of that. We should hear what their I mean, there should be discussion on that. Is it feasible, Mark, to just over a period of time, do like a full city assessment on what our sidewalks are? Some sort of mapping as to like, hey, here's where we'd say like, we gotta replace this. We don't have any sidewalk here. I mean, and then that way, because I think if there's the availability, like in these past years where maybe we've had what was determined as rollover, maybe, you know, throwing some of that money to fix some of those or help fix some of those, if we at least knew and had it prioritized.
It'd be a great Boy Scout project.
I think it'd be nice to get that assessment.
To assess,
Sidewalk.
Yeah,
You know, like
we
the
did get a
status
badge
of
like,
it.
where are they?
and a ribbon.
I think it'd be good to just have a city map of like, hey, where are the bad sidewalks? Where are there no sidewalks? And where are the sidewalks?
What's your
Good.
timeline?
I don't know, but I'm saying we should put a budget year on city sidewalk. And we should have an annual strategy. If we're gonna fund streets and
Yeah.
roads annually, we should fund sidewalks annually in terms of just where it goes bad, even if it's a smaller budget amount. It would seem like
Mhm.
it makes sense to me to have that plan in. But I don't think it's like, hey, can you get us that by the December meeting? I'm thinking more like for 27 so that we see it.
Are you talking about, but you want an annual budget item for sidewalks? You're talking about sidewalks owned by homeowners?
I'm saying building a strategy, whether we're budgeting for it every year or we're doing a cost share program. I'm just saying, let's get the assessment of what it is and see where it's bad and we need to replace it. Cause we can measure online and figure out feet and some estimates like that to come up with costs. And then this next council figure out what's the sidewalk replacement strategy and how are we gonna require it? Homeowners, or is the city gonna support it?
Can we look into the Safe Routes to School program and see if there is some great
Yeah.
possibilities for us?
That I think is something that what was the trail guy from Snyder talked about, utilizing down R38.
Rich.
One thing to consider as you're starting to think through sidewalks is the transportation director from the Ballard Schools was at the community forum with the superintendent at the library last month. I think Greg was there too. And he was talking about bus stops in Slater and that there are very few of them because of the requirements that the buses and transportation has to have access to sidewalks to even have bus stops. Like they cannot have a stop to drop off kids if there are not sidewalks in that.
From a liability standpoint. or
Yeah,
something.
so there aren't
Yeah,
very many, and they've like added one at the daycare because they can drop them off right at the daycare. So they've added one that some kids can get there, but there's no actual sidewalks to get to the daycare. The parents just have
Yeah.
to have that. But that's just something to think about as you're planning for the future and thinking through sidewalk issues, that's another part of that is thinking through what.
A great
is
point.
needed. the schools and the safety for the kids to get to the buses.
It's a great point.
It's the Main Street parking down here. That's pointing at
Main Street, new parking, yep.
West End.
What, say that again?
That's here, the West End.
No, I think it's just a broad topic. Main Street, new parking.
Okay.
Could be anywhere.
I think that just comes into the parking plan, right? The expansion, where, how, what.
Well, it didn't have any marks on it, so I was
Yeah.
unsure.
Before we go, city sidewalks, is everybody okay with putting a timeline on that of fiscal year 27? How much, what, we'll sort out, but
Yes.
we get it on it there.
Consensus?
Yeah,
Well, and your comment, Taylor, about annual probably makes sense if we're gonna try to put a program in place to.
We need to figure out whether it's gonna go on the homeowner or whether we're gonna do a sharing program. And that's gonna come out through budgeting and through comp planning, but I would like to see it prioritized, so these guys don't lose sight of it, the staff doesn't lose sight of it.
I mean, one thing you can do is. You can, seems like somewhere in the past, this was brought up and it was, you could do a, Mark, you might remember, but there was a plan, you could do it for the homeowner. And assess it to their property without it being a. Kind of an onerous. You gotta pay that now, but it basically, when they sell their house, is when you would get that money back. So you'd basically be financing this sidewalk for them at a 0 interest loan is essentially what it ends up being until they sell their home. You have any recollection of that?
I don't.
It seems like that was a program that was out, but it was a long time ago.
Well, and staff, as we get to this, do some, there's ways to find out what programs are out there, what other communities are doing, so that we can, as we evaluate a program, you can bring us some alternatives.
I think there's grants.
I think Main Street parking falls into the same category, right? In terms of like, well, we need to bite off, what is the parking plan? What is the expansion plan?
So, yeah, I agree with after the comp plan, but I'd like to have some money allocated. Right now, it's just all blank.
Well, don't get caught up in the money. We're not necessarily doing that tonight. But I think Main Street parking is another where it's like there should be some annual strategy to the expansion.
It's a pretty consistent complaint.
For sure.
Yeah. Which is, if I must say, the best complaint you can receive, because it
Yeah.
means something's happening on your
Yeah.
parking's in demand. You never want to surplus of parking.
So is that moved also to? I mean, we probably haven't gotten to the year.
I think we should put 27 on it, knowing that there's some assessment that needs to be done, right? In our planning, like, where's the cheapest parking we can add on Main Street? Where's the most logical parking, et cetera. Fire pave alley from entrance to west. Is this in line with what we talked about? Okay, all right, so we agreed that we're kind of we put that out in 28, so we're not talking there. Library paved parking along First Ave. I think that's obviously a kick the can, unless somebody disagrees.
it could go into your parking plan.
Yeah, it can fit inside of
If
that.
Something doesn't happen.
If something doesn't happen, yeah,
Then you could do like what's in front of the fourplex and the seniors or the.
yeah, expand it all the way down.
Yep.
Put a light pole on that corner. Trail and wayfinding, we've already addressed. Moving into water, unless there's any concerns about streets, if we can close that out for now. Reverse osmosis. Many residents would love for this to be the #1 priority, probably. Expensive one, but
Yeah, and I don't know, $7 million is probably not near to cover.
yeah. I don't know if it's reverse osmosis or the new wells or whatever, but I think understanding what we have to do to get that fixed. And if the wells are sufficient for, us doubling in size or whatever. Determining that would be probably wise.
Mhm.
And probably putting a timeline on whether it's reverse osmosis or water quality, volume improvements or whatever you'd call it.
From studies years ago that I think Sue and Ken were involved with. Snyder did. What we found was. Our treatment is working, it's what it's gonna do, I mean, obviously. And our RO will be the only cure, it's not in our pipes, it's not, it's tannins in our water.
That's aquifer that we sit on top of. Yeah.
And my memory, which may or may not be right, was that we went and visited Norwalk some town that had just built, maybe it's Panora.
So-
Someone who had just built an RO facility. And so we had an idea of the cost, which I can't say, but it seems like it was way more than $1 million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And they said the chemical nature of our water was such that there's no guarantee that a reverse osmosis plant would make our water better.
yeah, I think the first step would be to do. Obviously,
Small scale.
a small scale study, yeah.
Maybe I can, maybe somebody who looks through the files will find the report from back then.
Is there a mirror over here? Are you seeing a mirror over here? Because you're the only one that's looking through files, so. You're the only one patient enough to look through the
And
files.
see if I,
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Have, actually, I can help you out with it. I have a file in my office.
see, that would be great.
I think,
That would be helpful.
I mean, is that not something we want to basically have on, like, we're putting this on the horizon to address?
If there's something to address, we certainly talk about it. Otherwise, in the short term,
Don't worry.
I put in a pair of 20-inch big blues for a couple $100,
I think,
and I have no orange water anywhere now.
think we have other
You put
fish
in
in
what?
water right now.
Those giant, water filters, one carbon, one, 0.1 micron.
It's
I
like,
get plenty of water. I can run 3 showers same time. Everything's fine, and I gotta replace filters every 3 to 6 months, depending on whatever's going on in this pump house right now.
it's just aesthetic. It's not a health thing, though.
Yeah,
That's
but I don't
the
have
thing.
red, I don't have red rings in the toilets, sinks, nothing.
No, I understand that.
So
but it's
the people
not-
that are concerned.
Yeah, I don't have all this.
Oh, I don't think it's like a few people, though. I think this is like this is an overwhelming resident. Like, if they could choose, they would prioritize this really high, I think, resident wise. We can't
No,
gauge
it's-
that.
I think
but-
micro scale, I can tell you reverse osmosis works in the
I
top.
don't know. It's been better.
So,
It's just my system that you're mixing too with
You know,
the
whether
county.
Xenia, yep.
He does
to scale that.
For drinking
for
water.
The entire city.
I don't mean to
for drinking.
I don't mean to cut us
Yeah,
off, but
you're
I'm
doable.
not hearing the consensus that you
No.
guys care about reverse addressing.
I don't
Full
care.
I said that would be.
But I have to replace that. filter
Love this time.
Every 30 days.
Wine, yeah.
I don't hear about, I'm not hearing like, hey, we want to put this as a top priority.
Nope. no.
Okay,
I can tell you it's a top priority right up until their taxes are gonna go up.
Right.
And then it's gonna go way down the priority.
Most of us lived with it for.
Hold on, yeah.
time.
no, I would prioritize it, but it's,
I can tell you in the 20 years I
You
did,
guys just go.
it has gotten better.
It has got.
Yeah.
And when you
When you
blend,
blend.
and when we blend, it gets
Way
way
better.
better. And so
so
that may be a much better solution than.
we're gonna migrate to the next one. Hydrant replacement, 5-year, I think he's out there, no concerns if anybody. Replace 4-inch,
That's just
Yeah,
a technical
Along the
replacement.
line.
I think it's just a
I was
schedule.
just talking, that plant was built in 91, so most everything that is engineered is a 20-year. Period. I'm just saying. That there's gonna need to be some upgrades, so at the time, you might wanna think about that, you know, in the. That's
Yeah.
why I put it in here, I just want it on the radar.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to talk about it, you know, I think it just needs to be. Seen. It's on here and I think it needs to stay on there, no matter what your timeline is.
You mean the reverse osmosis or the?
Something, I don't care what.
Just one. Yeah.
And while you're doing, I think that would be the smart thing to at least look into it with help. That might be 5 years down the road or 6 years down the road. I think that's the whole, to me, this was the purpose of this is to get everything
Yeah,
that
Yep.
needs to be.
yeah, so that would put us into, this says fiscal year 2020, but should be 2030, right?
Right.
So at a minimum, we should put something out there on 2030, just a check mark for now, so that it's on the list and stays on the list.
Did say 30, I swear.
So I'm not sure how to see
Mine
2030.
says 30.
Very top.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's weird. Mine says 20.
It's on the next
It
page.
says
The first page, it says 20.
Oh,
The next
okay.
Page, it says 30.
I see, okay. But on the first page is there consensus instead of reverse osmosis? Just water plant, yellow water as 2030
Yeah.
priority, knowing that that's approaching the 20-year life.
Sure.
Jerry and Lindsay, you got that?
2030.
You're gonna have to check your math.
Yeah, I know.
What?
You have to check your math. We're way over.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry, we're 40. Yeah, sorry. I'm like,
I can't tell you how many hours it took to put this thing together. A lot.
Hydrant replacement, 5-year, we got replace 4-inch and 6-inch main and valves study. Under review already, it looks like. Oh, study from 2010.
Like that to be part of the comp plan, if it's a 15-year-old plan. See what we need for water development everywhere, you know.
The hydrant replacement is old hydrant, honestly, it was here to use.
Sorry, I thought you jumped from 4 to 6 inch. You already said,
Oh,
you already said the hydrant,
that-
just a
okay.
cyclical
I
replacement.
think I might even be done then.
Yeah.
So the only question I have there is how can you have that cyclical? We don't need to start on the hydrant this year.
Right, it's not.
Well, we're already in that budget.
Oh, okay.
So moving to sanitary sewer, we got the tank, we've talked about that, in terms of timeline, this whole sports complex plan, that's not in what the council's ready to move on it, but we're gonna have to tackle that. The wastewater treatment,
That's one of those things we've got funds for, and that's one of those small items you can chip away at versus
agree, yeah,
put into a big plan.
yeah.
That's
Fencing, this is the one again, we mentioned about the Iowa DNR said that the facility needs to be fully fenced, basically, so.
How much is the fine versus the fence?
No. You don't want,
The fence is
You don't wanna be on
cheaper,
the
it's
internet.
Trees is gonna be
Yeah.
more expensive.
Right, I was just wondering if it's a $500 fine, then
I don't know, but I don't want.
Okay, fine.
Plus, it's kind of a liability potential issue also.
Yeah.
I think it's that, I think it's just you want fenced and I don't want Zach's license or my license to get a fine on it, so I think that's just a bad look that we don't need.
okay.
But like the fencing, $40,000, is that a,
He was saying, I think there was talking going on, but go ahead, Mark.
So the fence is the cheap part, it's the grubbing of the trees to
Oh.
get to where the fence is gonna.
The whole like southwest kind of bank of the lagoon by the creek is trees that has
Right.
to be removed. The only alternative would be potentially if we would be allowed to put the fence on the west side of the
And I-
creek.
And that hasn't been.
That's never been talked about or discussed and it's not our
They
land.
would allow. her-
So-
Still.
But like Mark said, the tree removal could be a positive thing, told me today, cause I was down there. Tree removal could be a positive thing for odor as well, cause now you get
In the whole scheme
Better
of things, just because.
wind flow. airflow.
Wind hitting it, you see a lot of lagoons that are not, there's no trees around it just because. You want air to hit it. You want wind and the more wind, the better.
I hate to open up a new can, and the whole wastewater treatment facility, my recollection is we don't necessarily have to have the third cell. Is that,
We should,
we do
the
have,
way it's permitted right now. we do.
but it could be a third that size or a quarter that size, when it was we left it because it was gonna cost way more to change it than it was to leave it, but when, my recollection is we didn't need anywhere near that third cell size. Is
No.
there any chance that, I mean, we think the small settling basin is a big part of that problem. Any chance that first cell could be our whole settling?
That will be in your November,
Okay.
that will be part of your November proposal.
Okay.
Snyder should be bringing that, cause that's Zach and Mark have recommended something similar. So we'll get you the details on that.
Thanks.
Yep. Everybody okay with the timelines on some of those things? Lining work, do you just really quickly want to explain that, Mark or Jerry? I know you guys
So
talked.
Is basically to help with INI, you have old, they. Infrastructure that is cracked and it would be a whole televising and then you line, X amount of, you wanna do blocks, not necessarily. There again,
That would be just the city's portion, correct? You wouldn't go up to. the old-
yeah, you don't do the laterals,
Yeah.
it's just the main itself.
But you're looking at those connections to see
Yeah,
what kind of
yeah, you're
condition.
checking
they're in.
connections, but yeah, we are not gonna do service lines or anything.
Yeah.
like that.
Which you'll see, I think, I know I get it, cause I'm the mayor, the letter from the DNR. Has council seen that letter yet? Were they on the list to receive that? I'm assuming you guys haven't seen the most recent. So we'll make sure we get that shared with them. But you'll see on that, if you remember, I has been a continual DNR concern and is listed again.
Disney City, I mean.
It's a common thing.
You talk to, they have. It was our buddy this summer. It was our friend. It was a 7.
Yeah,
So it's 150 grand every 2 years for infinity or?
Not necessarily, you just.
No, they're all aligned.
well, I think,
What's the total project?
well, just to clarify, right,
We don't.
this isn't lining anything.
It's televising.
This
is diagnosing.
What's out there.
This is diagnosis cost.
150 grand.
So.
Annual, that's annual budget.
To know what the damn, to
That's
assess.
what I spend $50,000. I think a lot of that is. I think.
I know at Prairie City, we spent 135,000 every year.
Were you lining though?
A lot of it was just televising.
Televising.
And
I
identifying
think a couple
projects,
bucks.
But there's, well, it's not inexpensive, but to do like repairs, they can put in those,
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them.
When
the
you still line
sleeves.
stuff,
Yeah,
you're $80,000 is kind of your. They don't want to come for less than that, which gives you, I think, about 1,000 feet maybe. Is,
Yeah.
you know, that just kind of puts it in perspective.
It makes sense. The efficiencies of scale, they don't show up for 50 feet.
Right.
Well, I got 80 feet at my house for 25 grand that needs done, so
Yeah, we're not doing sort of-
it's pretty
And
expensive.
there's enough.
I mean, it's
storage
pretty
here.
expensive on a small.
Have them
house.
here every year.
You did?
I guess my other point there is, instead of doing a little bit at a time,
I've ever done.
are there grants and things available if we did a bigger chunk and did it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or something. So I'm assuming there's some-
All we've ever done now is jetted and televised. Every so many years we televise. We don't televise every.
I guess that's my only concern is if there's a way to finance this in a big chunk. And I'm assuming most of it's on the side of the 210.
For sure.
And this has $150,000. Is that in 27 and 29? And then in the yellow, it says it has parentheses each year, so something doesn't match up.
Mine doesn't say that.
Yeah, I wonder.
Mine does. What'd you do?
Might be looking at the ones, you know.
I see both of them say each year.
Right there is.
Oh, at the end there,
Yeah,
I
I
see what
think
you're saying,
initially-
sorry.
Cause that's what I'm used to. We
Every
did it
year.
every
It's
year.
just a
but
proposal.
With the conversation with Mark, we was thinking every other year.
I'm just going back to, I know how much money there is and I just, yeah, could you do it every year? That'd be great, but
Yeah,
it's just a lot of money that.
but we need to be televising it at least and get through and continue to keep it televised so that we know at a minimum.
Yeah.
The dollar amount we'll figure out later, but we do agree that it needs to stay on the list and be budgeted for to a certain
With the
extent.
televising that we do now,
Yeah,
what does that do for us other than tell us where to jet?
it just lets you know that if you have something major, you know, that's all. Telling you if that's it. If
Oh,
would
you
have a
televise
major
it
collapse.
when you think you've got a problem in one area, that's.
It's just good, it's a good practice just to say, yeah, we televised, it's, you know. Laterals here, you have maybe a small crack, the inflow here.
How much of the city would you say you've televised just in your time, like?
The whole thing has been at least once in my time here, probably if not twice.
In 20 years.
Yeah. And we try to jet the town. The whole town gets jetted we've been on a 4-year cycle, but with growth. We might have to do it 5 years, every 5 years. That section will get jetted.
And if you start lining those sections, you're not gonna be jetting those sections anymore, in theory.
Not necessarily, no, that's not true.
Okay.
Clean.
Yeah.
That'll
Still
still-
gonna have to jet it.
Yes.
It'll still sediment there, you just won't.
But right behind
You will
you.
not get your INI, or you'll cut down your INI.
It'll be
Relining
You're to jet
5
with
million
a lining.
city
Yeah.
block for replacement.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I know we're skipping the orange ones, but the inflow meters,
those are in place and operating. We've
That's
got
what-
data coming from them. It's a temporary base meter, right?
We'll have to get the data from Snyder. We can't go retrieve it.
but I was looking, it just says 29, so that's a permanent.
We are wanting, yes.
Okay,
But we can use the temporary one and they should be getting data at the end of each month to share with Sheldon. I've asked Jerry and Lindsay to gather it and Mark
And
to
we-
provide it and Snyder to
we
provide it.
At Sheldon, so we have a starting number of Sheldon.
Good.
So we're on track. Lagoon odor we're gonna talk about this. We didn't budget for it to fix that in this year, but it may move to a 26 budget amendment, but we'll leave it at 27 if you guys are okay with it, knowing that this council will prioritize it. Third and Green, storm sewer now.
While we're doing.
Go
that,
ahead, Mark.
I just think to keep it in, I'll mention it again, I did the last time, but we need to know how much of that could be reapplied to Sheldon's.
Yeah, I think, what I would just say about that topic is, I think on paper contractually, the percentage that they're supposed to share with us, which is 12.68 or, something. Legally, I guess that could be determined. I'm pretty confident that they will resist paying for additional odor fix costs. I'm not sure how that will settle out in the courtroom, but whether we get it or not, back to, I heard you say that at one point, like, just let's get what we can get.
Yeah.
We can always try and certainly would. But odor is one of those things like Mark's talked about, or I've heard Mark and Zach talk about, like, there's no way to measure scientifically necessarily odor, and the DNR doesn't regulate odor, so their argument would be
No, there's a scientific way to measure it, but no, they don't regulate.
the DNR doesn't care about it. I mean, and so it could be a battle, but we would certainly want them to pay for their part.
I'm not sure I'd list it as odor remediation, it's just that it's still changes to it.
From the original project.
Yeah.
Double sanitary,
Storm sewer. Yep, I am, unless anybody else needs comments or thoughts.
one thing I stand, so that storms, I'm fine if it moves up, that's not even that expensive. Storm,
Oh,
if it should be done now. That's your expertise.
it's just, those are intakes is what those are, road intakes that are.
It's concrete
those
work.
that are-
Right, agreed, I just didn't know if it's causing any problems that they're gonna cave in and get worse.
No, I don't think any of them are,
Okay. I don't wanna buy somebody's car because they drove in the
no.
latch hole.
I think he did mark, yeah, like some of those are pretty bad. If you're down there by is that the ball for field on Third and
Yeah.
Green? That one's pretty bad and it continues to
That was-
collapse, so I think there's some that are good that are on the list for next year.
I'm fine as long as it makes sure it's good.
Parks, as we look down there, stop me guys if you were wanting to go back.
So that's been a discussion numerous times, and that's like a stormwater sump pump collection line. Basically up here, that again would be to get rid of some sumps. that they-
Regional.
Patient kids.
That's a huge project, as Ken I know has sat on that, maybe Sue. Snyder's done, we've talked numerous times on some collection lines and. We're too flat. I don't know what you do with it, I think it needs to be put on there and maybe at some year down the road.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do something.
Could come into the comprehensive again.
Yeah.
Parks, we've talked about the sports complex, right? So we're all kind of on the same page on that, right?
Yeah.
Craig,
Yeah, we need a plan.
we're on the same page with where we're where we're going and where it stops versus the
Right,
plan.
we're finishing what we're doing right now, but not expanding it.
Irrigation and trail is some, okay,
So no ball fields for now.
yep, just want to make sure.
Yep. Which includes the 3-phase, because you need that for the irrigation.
Which I think, yeah, those are the greens that you see there from him. Pool down there, I think, I guess maybe we should talk Southside Park Trail Loop. Is that to get over to the playground from the west to the east?
Well, we have two different loops that's been in discussion. Loop around Southside Park, just so we can get them looped somewhere around the east side. And then going out to R38 basically and taking it up north.
That'd be more like the city loop.
Right, so that would be the city loop. So we have two different loops going there.
There's three.
Did we split that out, Jerry? I don't think so. I think we just put loop All their options.
What's the south side trail, what are you talking about, just because
That's down there on like the
If that was
park where the,
one, that's so you go across the bridge, you,
to the new playground or the.
We die at Southside, so just put a loop at Southside to get them, and then they can come back.
Or the talk at one point was, right, then the trail would run down the lagoon or whatever to make a loop.
That would be the bigger and probably better option, because that's a true city loop.
I'm still unclear on what you mean by a loop around south side. Park.
Just think like a circle, just think like a circle.
Go, right, you go down over the bridge. And then around the east side of the park somehow, whatever makes sense, just so they don't dead end there and have to.
you're on the hard surface.
My only resistance there was the comment made earlier about if you're considering making that.
Yeah, and
Making it no longer a park.
I mean, one loop you get, well,
Right. That
Yeah.
definitely, you'd be taking the bridge out so they don't drive in your area.
Yeah, we all know that the original thought was perhaps we could just use Marshall. And that's still an option. We could paint a dedicated bike lane on Marshall but we would
Yeah.
still call it a loop because we're gonna have to pave to get them to Marshall.
Yeah,
And then we're probably gonna need to pave on the gravel portion is gonna have to be paved, so.
yeah, there's some
and
stuff there.
That's probably not the most appropriate way to do that.
I mean, to me, in the small interim, my little loop would be to get it around the playground.
go around the playground
And
and
call
Back, yeah. I think the R38 study too was supposed to include what getting sidewalk all the way down to 10th would be.
that would be.
And so that way, then you had the gap to close from Southside Park to R38 as far as like the full big citywide loop. In my mind, it'd be like, maybe we should wait and see what that study says and tackle that portion and then figure out how to connect the
Closest to
two,
Original design,
how to connect the two.
the original design was to jump across the highway and go out east and. So that would be the closest.
The
Yeah.
original design was to go on the north side of the lagoon to the cemetery.
Right.
And through the field.
Out east and up through the field and around the school, but that
Okay,
ain't gonna happen. So this, up our 38 would be.
I think that's.
does everybody feel okay about it sitting in 27?
Yeah, because that gives a chance to plan it better.
All right, lighting Severs Trail.
That figure is the figure I got for that is solar bollards. So 3 foot or 36 and I don't know, 36 or 40 tall bollards. I found some there like $215 a piece or something. So, I don't know.
That's probably the best option we've been talking about that for years. We were initially gonna plow in electric, but solar would be better and. There's been some safety concerns over the years, so people would like to see it lighted, for early morning and night runners, and so. I think that's the way to go.
That's already a real question. Do we have any of the short ones? Is there any issues with solar panel vandalism at 3 feet tall or?
I have no idea.
No, okay. We don't have any short ones.
No.
Okay.
I think-
Supportive, I'm just curious.
We don't have any solar lights that I can think of.
Oh, that's just the talls. Okay.
I think even just this lighting Severs Trail, I know it's on 27, that's a segment. I think lighting, city boundary trail, High Trestle, how much is it lit? And then mostly the one is, which the community visioning touched on, I think, was Heart of Iowa, east and west on the north side of town, on the back of the trailer park, on the tree line. It's obviously very, very dark there, back in there. So I think expanding the thought process on lighting trails in general inside of the city limits would be worthwhile.
Yep.
I think adding one out where the Historical Society has spent so much time, some sort of just little lighting where they've spent so much time to put that display up. Hobo Junction, yeah.
There's that,
It's
so
been discussed in the past, but I think,
Yeah,
at least from my group's perspective. There's been support around lighting the trails.
yeah. Fred would love to see him lit to Sheldon. That is something he's very passionate about and has been for a long time, so.
Mark, that will have to be powered, right?
What's that?
Well, south to Shell will have to be powered unless you're gonna cut down a lot of trees. Try to put this people off.
Right. Yeah, I don't, that would be a fair.
I mean, there's, yeah.
Well-
There's clearing and grubbing that would be fairly significant.
For sure.
You'd have to plow in.
Are Sheldon's
I don't know.
power or are they solar? So Sheldon's power is 100 yards from that site,
It
so.
was it was an undertaking, even though they had all that stuff donated, it was extensive.
Yeah. So I didn't want to throw for a loop, but I just think the lighting trail should be
So I have some things to say about that.
lighting trail.
I'm gonna say I probably have been on those trails more than anyone in this room.
Yeah.
Because I walk every morning at 6 AM. Most of the time of year when you're out, it's already light. So often the darkness is before 6 AM and after 10 PM. And if you're out that late, you probably have a flashlight. If we talked about this when Sheldon offered us the same lights as they have to bring them to Slater. And those are really tall and constant light is a problem for some of our wildlife. It throws off their circadian rhythms, and somewhere I have an email from an expert who can talk more about it than I do, if anyone's interested.
I remember.
So there's a lot of factors, and I would question if it's worth the cost
Yeah,
for the small amount of usage that there is during darkness. Now, inside the city limits, the one across the north side, that's maybe a different question, but you really should stop and think, how much do people really use the trails in the dark?
well, maybe they don't because of that. And the only thing I was just gonna say back to your comment is like, my wife has to completes a workout before 6 AM because she's gotta go to work, but so I think it's just, there's a lot, but I think there's certain parts of it that could be lit and not, but I'm not saying what should or shouldn't be done. But I do think it should be looked at if we're looking at it. And then when you think about the trail we're on, the most popular feature of the trail that we sit on that brings us all our bikers is a nighttime. I mean, it's really highly used nighttime trail. So I think creating that type of environment, it's like, oh, wow, this is really lit. This feels really safe as I come through this community. I like that part of it. Would be a positive review part for us, I think, but.
I don't know that we necessarily need LED streetlights though either. I
For sure.
still I see utility in lighting the trail, so.
Whatever that is.
Solar bollards. Just to light the space, so we don't have a trip and fall or.
Glow in the dark
crashing
concrete.
down a stick.
Like 100 feet, so.
We put something that it just lights the trail and gives them a little bit of comfort, and then we don't have to worry about the bats or whatever,
Is there consensus on like lighting trails is kind of the point here? And what those trails are and how much is what's to be determined in the fiscal year future as we go
Yeah.
and segment and do that.
I mean, I would separate out, see the trail.
Yeah, you guys phase them and that might be like, hey, 27, 28, 29, or that may
I think
be
the Severs
We do
Trail
know.
is a city walking trail.
the start.
I trust.
Yeah.
Right, Seaver should go first.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd put it first in your prioritization.
Actually owned
That's totally,
There, we don't.
that's great. I think even just keeping it broad enough that you can phase it.
So Severs is definite and the rest of it is.
I think that's what they'd really like to prioritize, yeah.
It's in the ether.
That's what I'm hearing.
And do we wanna move the Severs up to this year for the?
No, because our budget's already set, so I think instead of getting too wiggly on amending, we're already, wondering where we're gonna end up.
So add additional trail space.
I just think lighting trails, in parentheses, you could put Severs is kind of what I'm hearing.
What fiscal year?
27, stay where it's at.
Yeah.
They get 27. It just may be added into future years.
And then an overall comprehensive plan.
So, bathroom, metal partitions, those need replaced for 25 grand. I see was the quote. That's a next year budget item. Mark, what about these other three that you have in like this year? we've talked about this a little bit. Are these numbers a little more concrete or are they not, no pun intended?
They are not.
Okay, all right.
The concrete decking, I guess. That's just a general,
And you guys would perform that? Is that what you're thinking or?
that's just picking out the worst spots on the
Okay.
deck. That's not replacing all of it or anything like that.
But we're gonna see something maybe between now and the end of the year on what those costs are. You guys are working,
Yeah.
you're working on that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so I don't know that there's any reason to sit and discuss that
The east wall block, that's just tuck pointing, right?
unless there's questions about it.
So, just see if it's.
Just see if there's that, yeah.
My only objection is making sure that we know what's the scope of what it takes to bring that thing up to spec versus replacing it.
I think that's exactly what this is gonna do.
Okay, that's all I wanna make sure.
Cause there's a group that's doing some sort of inspection on the
Yeah.
pipes, I think was reported.
Yeah.
Cause there's only 3 in this year, and I'd like to understand. We looked at the first 3 this year in green, but
Yeah.
is there another $500,000 that we gotta do for the rest of it? I have no idea.
Just remember with the BA there, and obviously those will come to us for approval.
Agreed,
So,
but without knowing what the total scope's gonna be over the next year or 2.
Well, to clarify, resurfacing is one thing, but the mechanical building and the deck, that's, in my view, maintenance. It's just something that needs to
Yeah,
happen.
decking, I think, is a routine maintenance.
I mean, because the decking, you got areas that are failing and chipping off,
Yeah.
and then the maintenance building is just, he's just lost a corner and it's gotta be repaired.
Okay, yeah, mostly I was looking at the 200,000 and.
Yeah, I mean, those are 2 items that were on the list from when we
Right.
inspected and we were like, these are things that need done now. So.
So that's my only objection is. Just making sure that we're making a dime ourselves to a new pool.
Yeah. Agree.
Good question. Back on the Southside Park Trail Loop, there's a REAP grant designation next to it. Is that a REAP grant that we?
I just happened to mention to Jerry that we had used the REAP grant pretty religiously in the past, so.
Okay.
it's an option.
It's an option,
Yeah,
That could be a funding source.
funding source.
Okay.
slide resurfacing.
That's just one that, there again, you're looking at, the old,
Yeah,
they've waxed it, a couple times a year.
okay.
Maybe it's fine, maybe it ain't. Something that probably needs to be looked into.
Apparatus replacement plan. Is that playground equipment replacement?
That'd be playground.
Jonathan?
To do an assessment.
What's that?
That's just equipment replacement? Your thoughts and committee's thoughts on that?
No, my vision is that we get, we do an assessment and get an inventory of the parks. We internally will start doing an annual inspection. But the idea being that we have some safety sensitive equipment currently that I think will break parts once replaced.
That's because I was on it as a kid and I was.
And so
I
but the
saw you on
reality is, on all of these, I don't disagree. It's with a,
Yeah,
yes, so, but all of these things have an age and have a life and bolts tend to, loosen and these things, so. We should probably, I wanna be smarter about. Here's what we've got in the inventory, let's get kind of a plan put together, so we know.
so we'll
we need
address,
to be replacing equipment,
we'll get that from you in the future then.
get it on a schedule.
And then we'll figure out how it fits into the CIP.
Right.
All right. Parking and parking lots.
Hang on.
Sorry, Mark, go
Going
ahead.
back, I forgot, a fishing dock out at. The pond, Weeks's pond.
Under parks.
Yes,
Retention.
Tell me, we stocked it with the DNR, they green light when it can be fished. Do we have an anticipation as to when that would be green lit by them to fish? Is it like a multi-year?
no, at any time,
So,
you can. Once they stock, you're good to go.
okay,
I don't.
I thought it was communicated that it's not available to fish until till communicated or something. I thought when the communication went out, it said something like that.
It is fully stocked now,
This-
that's all,
The west
got
one
species.
that the Weeks is donated.
yeah, the west one.
Do you see
Parallel
that as
to
a
500.
27?
What's that?
That 27 item?
Your doc.
Oh. Yeah, I would love to be, yeah, 27.
That kind of folds into whatever you do with paved trail or or grass or access out there, right? The other thing is
How deep is that?
Adding that.
deep,
That's the.
like 40 foot, probably 30 foot.
There's deep,
So when it runs like out behind Frank Sains and that.
Yeah.
Right.
Long and narrow.
30 feet.
I saw it when it was empty. It's deep.
Sidewalks down.
I walked out there. Yeah,
Special lift for that.
we need to accept, we need to accept that
It wasn't that deep.
before we,
Was it?
Yeah, yeah. the
I was gonna ask,
development.
is that donated and accepted?
it needs to be done.
Not yet.
That's
It's been on the list. There's just been so much chaos in the transition. We need to get the
No,
paperwork
what
done.
complaint, I just wanna make sure we're gonna document.
So before,
So,
well,
Ask for
so
consensus
before
on it.
water got in there, we went and poured pillars.
Yep.
So there is pillars out there.
And we have consensus, 27 is, everybody's supportive of the fishing dock.
Yeah, so what's liability of that?
As far as what?
Having I don't know, I mean, I have no idea, city fishing dock. That's unsupervised and nobody around it.
We're not the only, I mean, obviously, DNR Big Creek has them.
There's a lot out at McFarland. We just got
Great,
there.
Great City had
Ames,
50.
what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right, I just kind of
No
would,
different than any other park equipment.
I don't disagree, I just wanna know.
Don't pinch your finger on.
It's obviously gotta be vetted before you build it. But
Right.
27's okay. It's pending, the process of making sure legally you can do it.
My question is
It's one
really,
that I think.
do we have
is
insurance
actually-
before we accept it? Or immediately after we accept it?
For six.
Just having a
I think
bond
it's-
require insurance?
Property insurance, yes.
Yeah.
I just wanna
Is
make
the
sure.
facility insured? That's,
That's what I mean, I.
Well, it's just gotta be a name.
Well, it's just dirt
facility.
right now, but
It has to be named on the policy as
It seemed like it
listed
was
one of our.
in the backyard.
The
That's-
minute we accept.
yeah. Yeah, to keep us rolling, obviously vet and make sure, hey, when we accept the pond, does it change things? Ask the question about the fishing dock, but everybody's good with adding it on 27, I hear.
Like I said, I.
Pending, like,
The current budget
legally.
now,
Okay,
because we.
so do you want us to keep it there? Do you want to build it in the
There's
spring?
one that I think is in the budget, I wasn't even gonna put it on, there.
Oh,
It's like, we
okay.
have all these other things that.
Do you want
I
it
don't know
on,
What should be budget or what,
when do you want it, Mark? 26 or
I
27?
want that.
Okay. So we'll put it on 26 pending the verification. It'll obviously be large enough, you'll have to quote it.
The other cities.
You'll obviously have to
cities
quote
that
it.
I
Are they,
hear,
are you,
I got
gonna build
multiple
it?
that have docks, I don't
you
You'll be
building?
done.
know of any,
Yeah, we.
Yeah, so you save money.
you know,
Curious.
aggressive liability issues. I mean, Johnston even put in that are ADA compliant,
This
you
would be,
know. I mean, so if that's the case, then rails might be necessary. But if it's gonna be ADA compliant,
ADA compliant, actually, we went down to Big Creek today and looked at their handicap dock.
they have rails on that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Some
so
are.
I mean, if it's
Some
a
are
rail,
4 foot,
rail
others are-
facility. I'd rather we develop, because then we're gonna maintain that space instead of it turning into a nuisance and.
Yeah, so I'm hearing, is 26 okay with you guys? We'll vet the liability. You'll see the quotes for the project. Cause it's gonna be a several. Okay,
Before you guys leave parks, can I ask a
Alright.
question?
yes,
Project, but with the bicycle accident that happened down there in 44 about access to the
Yeah.
ways and that type of stuff. What about our crossing at 210? Can we like clear out some trees so you have a little better visibility of, I don't know what our restrictions are on trees along that trail and that type of stuff.
I think it's a timely topic.
There's also stop signs on the trail too.
Yeah,
So.
but we know how.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Tonight's.
It's a bit of a different crossing, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I don't disagree. I think we got a lot of dead trees along there. I mean, we're gonna have to handle the trees.
Yeah, I think that's just, hey, can we look at it? Mark will send somebody out there and look at it and trim them if the
There's dead
line of
trees
sight's
that we
bad.
can, Increase.
Yep,
visibility.
I used to get a lot of volunteer trees out there and it just.
yeah, I
You
think
don't
like
have a good visibility of what's coming down that trail and.
Yep.
Rather as a. drive-
noted and actionable.
Chad, you said 210?
Yeah.
Noted and actionable.
Mark, look at our 38. In my opinion, that was a lot worse than my bike.
Well, the good news is the cars will stop there. I've seen a sheriff stop and let the bikes go across.
And in the years ago, we asked the county to address it and nothing happened.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
Actually trimmed back,
they've trimmed some back and we're talking, yeah,
no, they were, what, I see.
You generally got different speed of cars too, though, hopefully.
yep. Let's move to the, I don't want to discount anything you're saying, but noted, Mark will look at it. That's kind of an easy maintenance thing. You guys have a chainsaw or should we add that to the list?
You always use another.
Parking lots, Public Works,
Go to the bike shed.
Public Works, pave the entire complex for Public Works. That's kind of a slotted 27. That seems like really nice to have. Seems really expensive.
Sorry, what?
Paving entire complex
Oh.
down there by Public Works. Seems really nice to have. Seems really expensive. Maybe not 27 in my mind, but
I want to see the number.
For sure.
Sports, park sports complex. Oh, that's the parking lot. That's to pave the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll say that. That falls back into like kind of our complex conversation, although that could be a nice, bike parking lot. Park Southside Sea Trail. Is this the loop? Or just the paving the whole parking lot?
With possible future expansion of the parking there.
And you guys have that 28, so we won't talk about it. No need to move anybody. Everybody's okay with timing on that. Northeast Trailhead, this is, by the school city.
School, Arboretum.
I think the R38 study is gonna make us think deeper about that. Grim Park,
Parking.
tennis court lot.
Tennis court lot.
Yeah, that one could make sense to me at 27.
That one, it'd be nice to look into grants, do like a permeable paver like we did at the pool at Grim Bar at the north parking lot there. That was a grant.
Okay,
Did permeable pavers, and that was a great project. So.
Lindsay, Jerry, grants
I got that down.
for 27. Nelson Park,
Gravel parking areas, just getting
Yeah.
angle or
Yep,
gradient
yeah.
parking.
Hard surface is better than rock anytime.
Yep.
moving to the next page. Any questions there?
That's the case. Guess I'd move, since it's a lot less expensive, I'd be inclined to move Nelson up.
Yeah, I think that Nelson Park, as you talk about, what do you do at the log cabin? You almost fold that right into whatever you're doing with that and just do it all at once, kinda.
Once upon a time, that was actually one of our priorities, and then it just.
It was
fell off the
almost
budget.
done and we ran out of year.
Yeah.
Ran out of weather.
But yes, I mean, whatever,
It's the most
if we're talking a new
affordable.
building, then that changes the whole layout.
Yeah, I think dollars too. Remember, these are kind of just in
That from Snyder.
indications.
High level.
Large equipment, moving to large equipment.
It's an open trailer.
Flatbed.
And car trailer, then, or bigger,
Yeah, this one's a heavier.
a big gooseneck or something.
No, just 4 foot on the front. Bigger, little bit heavier axle or just heavier duty trailer for the mini and.
Getting rid of the car trailer, getting rid of the car
I
trailer.
would get rid of the, yeah.
Okay.
Or tilt bed, yeah.
Which you've already budgeted for this. We've already technically kind of approved it. You put it in this year we're in budget.
Do we have somewhere a written inventory of equipment and other stuff?
Just help me define equipment, like you want every piece of equipment we have, or you want equipment over $5,000 or $2,500 or 1,000 or?
You guys have an Aspen Marine list, you send it to your insurance.
In the road use report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that cuts off usually anything under like probably with the city, it's like 1,000 or $2,500 is just automatically covered.
Whatever they
It
want.
was in the road use. Okay.
That's
Yeah, I don't know
only,
where that's at.
that's only road equipment, so.
Yeah, I have this here, so.
It's in there.
I had the same question and I was gonna add to, what's the year of equipment, what's the planned replacement, what's the estimated cost? Just so we have kind of long-term
It's
plan.
all pretty much in this large equipment.
That's on the road use.
No, it's from this.
No, but fire, EMS, everything, I was just looking
Oh,
for the
you-
complete
Oh, all right,
list of
okay.
all of the,
Every.
all of the things. But I think you were working on that for insurance anyway.
We will be.
Okay.
We
we'll
have
be
redone
not
all
on
that.
So I
Yeah.
think that would be very helpful in this, so we can have an idea of what we've already invested.
Well, the thing that really stuck out to me, yeah, the thing that stuck out to me about this section when I reviewed it is, obviously you look at the check marks, you look at the list, it's like, obviously Mark has had some sort of strategy because it's laid out, you know, in here that
Yeah.
there's a strategy, whether we agree with it or not, or we think differently. I do think that's on there. The boom truck is one that's listed in white, Mark, but that seems to be, yeah, maybe it's a nice to have, but it seems like the usage is pretty significant with
It is.
our Main Street, our Christmas tree, all of those things.
Just because
Yeah,
we have a small fund for it. It would be a trade-in. Obviously, I don't need two. It's kind of one that we want a certain one, and they're not very easy, but we want to do some investigating, maybe what we want is not practical, so.
okay,
That's something. But definitely within, I would say sooner than later, it'd be nice to upgrade our busy phone.
mhm.
Skipping the orange ones.
With where we're at right now, or does anybody,
Yeah, tractor. And the John Deere,
Mhm.
too small, that's not old, is it?
No, it's actually at Van Wall right now, so we'll see what that turns out to be.
Yeah.
It's just been a headache. It's with all the new standards on record. This record's just not been great since city fund
Okay,
emissions.
alright,
That is probably our worst piece of equipment. As far as,
how old is it? So it's just spelled lemon?
maybe, and it's probably older than I think, 4 years, 5 years old.
Seems more frequent than you do for replacement. That kind of equipment.
I agree. But
UTV. You're just putting those on a replacement cycle.
Some would be a replace, and I think down the road would be to add one. Possibly add two if the complex gets done,
Okay,
to basically keep one to keep out there. And then just add a third. I mean, they just get used all the time.
so you put the mowers on a replacement cycle.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you.
We are now, just started because we were renting.
But the same thing for the UTVs, they probably get hundreds many hours.
Yeah. There's new mowers,
Yeah, you got mower for the sports complex on there,
yeah,
and then. Yeah,
What's a vacuum trailer?
like a vac trailer,
jet vac,
just a pure vac,
oh,
just a suck vac.
For
For main breaks, for a lot, just. everything.
sewer vacuum?
no,
Yeah, no, not
Water.
necessarily. It's
Water,
a trailer,
storm
you
water.
could use it on main breaks, you could,
But it's liquid, not dry.
yeah,
yeah, it has, yeah, you can,
Okay,
yeah, but you're sucking. Slop up.
right. Because it's right beside the vacuum truck, that's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the sweeper is the street sweeper, right?
Yep.
I don't see anything that's
Sure.
causing me any heartburn. And in the small equipment, I think that's like those people staff kind of handles that.
What's the pool filter element?
Mark doesn't want to sell them.
Well, so we got new socks, we have all them in hand now.
Just water filters?
It's a plastic element that your sock would go around. It's a
Just a
plastic
wear
element.
item, just a wear item, that you replace them every 3
Yeah,
years.
they chip, they get brittle.
I know nothing about pool.
You have website on here, Lindsay, I assume that does that dovetail into, or is that computer software? Those are two separate. Computer software is
Separate.
your operating software. Okay. All right.
27 soon enough for software.
It'll probably be 28.
You mentioned, I think to me, I don't know if maybe you mentioned at one of the conferences you were at, they said that G-Works is gonna be supported again now another year because the transitions, they're not transitioning as fast.
Correct, but the rates are not going down. They're still staying high.
So,
Sounds about right.
Good thing you know it so well.
I do.
library, so then the library stuff's part of the new building noted there, so, yeah, I appreciate the work. Jerry, can you tell us based on where we've done tonight, do we need to meet on the 5th regarding this, or do you formalize numbers better? Do you or do we scrap the 5th at this point?
I think we have pretty good direction. There's been quite a few minor, I would say, adjustments. And so the next stage really is just try to put realistic numbers to each of these line items. And really, we've got a lot of that work already done, which I think is a really good place to be at for
Okay.
our first meeting.
I'm not sure if this would be doable, but one thing that I would create value in my mind, and if council's in agreement, it'd be nice to see now that we've prioritized it, sorted by based on the fiscal year that we agreed to do it. And as you build out prices, sorted and compiled from a cost standpoint based on the fiscal year we've agreed to these things. So we have an overall comprehension of the financial commitment in the fiscal year. Hopefully this is an Excel that would make it a little easier. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Just so we can see fiscal year 26 tonight, you guys
What
all,
costs would be-
yeah, it was like you
Yep.
guys just committed $3.5 million in project. Already then, we'll revisit them now. Now priorities are shifting, but it'd be good to see it that
So
way.
the next spreadsheet will look a little different.
So I'm hearing that November 5th is not necessary.
That's up to the council.
The other
I'll
thing
hear
I
what
would,
Jerry says.
The other thing I would-
Jerry wants us to meet on the 5th or not.
Or do you want to work on
Well-
this? To bring it back to us on the 5th?
Yeah, let's work on, we can work on it. The next regular meeting's on the 10th, and so hopefully we could have something ready by the 10th.
Yeah,
If we don't have a special meeting.
I'd love to punt on the 5th if we don't need it, but
I'm not here for this, so I'd rather not have it then.
Yeah, I'm not here either.
the other thing I would say about the, from this draft would be like I was starting to pair out like what the sports complex was along with what.
By
kind of what
project.
Greg was saying by, a little bit by project on some of these and,
that's fair. Yeah.
versus buildings, land, streets, just by organizational chart.
Yeah.
That would give us a little bit of an idea too. If you can parse that out on a spreadsheet.
I have one more question on the spreadsheet itself. Well, wait till it's done writing.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm
Um,
all ears.
I didn't see anything for new office furniture. How is your office? Do you need some nicer things? Cause I've just seen like Walmart tables back there and. Is your office set up okay? Cause if there's something you need, we want you to.
Honestly, I'd love to have an office that's closer to the rest of the staff, but this is kind of the situation that we have. But equipping wise, I've got a laptop. I've got chairs.
Well, we want.
I've got my Iowa State flag. I'm good.
We need walkie-talkies.
Walkie talkies.
Every time I get a call, they come around the corner.
Well,
Yeah.
I see that on the last page though, down at the bottom, you had desks and chairs for the.
Oh, I think,
That was
Yeah.
for our
You guys-
addition for them.
Oh,
Well, like that conference room, that's a place.
But I mean,
We got-
the chairs need to.
yeah, which we've green lighted.
Every time somebody sits in them, a piece of it takes, leaves with the person.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for an outside meeting, for sure. It's, the chairs are taken care of. Lindsay's already been Googling them over here. I've been
I
watching.
believe it.
Got heated massage ones.
Those have been done.
Well,
So I'm going to basically say the 5th is not needed. You'll let us know if that changes, but with the
Yeah.
10th on the schedule, we could look at this on the 10th if we needed. Fair? You had a question?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the small equipment, but I personally, I just all little stuff on that, except 26.
Yeah. I think, yep, that's why we punted it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so-
I kinda heard from over here, they're good with that, so sorry.
And Sue, echoing your comments, I would really like to see capital list with what's the age on it, when did we buy it? What's the anticipated life cycle, that kind of thing.
I know we got something from the library.
Yeah, and I know, Mark, Lindsay put together the list for the road goods, but there's a lot of the goods besides road.
For equipment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll have more information coming when we do the insurance
okay,
review.
but if we can get that put together, that helps. What's upcoming? Because even buildings, all those things, we start getting on roofs, Mark's got one roof in, but we got one roofs.
Wait a second, I want to clarify. You asked for a list of
Capital goods.
goods.
Yep.
That, in my mind, would not include roofs of places.
It doesn't
Roofs
include
were-
buildings.
I would, the insurance will have a
Our
list of our buildings, but it won't, like, when the roof was replaced, details, granular details like that would not necessarily all be included.
Yeah, the new insurance company actually is going to do a walkthrough of all the buildings.
Which is needed.
Yeah.
And then I think there will be a,
They're gonna file that information for themselves. They're not gonna give you a list. of-
They will, they'll give us a report,
our broker will.
yeah.
We'll request it.
The only other thing that I would clarify is, the goods will be, there'll be a cap. Insurance policies say like, you don't line item goods under a certain threshold. We can confirm what that is, but it might be $2,500, nothing under that or
And I'm
whatever.
not worried about that, I'm all. No.
They're likely coming and asking you when you replace the roof last.
And we're gonna say,
There's Mark.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah, in new furnace.
Within the last 20 years, and they're gonna.
So,
the only reason I'm interested in properties is air conditioners and furnaces and all the other things that we don't have on there. Except for one roof. Those things are about a ton of capital.
no, I agree 100%. And I think this process though helps fix that in the future because each department should be monitoring some of that. Mark should be monitoring some of that. I think if you want the oversight of it, that's great to see it. But my expectation is that department heads are bringing these things to our attention and getting these on the capital improvement list based on that. And then some of those will be obviously unexpected or unpredictable.
Agreed, you know, that I think it's a responsibility also to understand some of those things, also not just the staff.
Yeah, I think it's just the balance of like, at what point do you go from council making decisions to now I'm micromanaging department heads? I think it's the balance. So,
Yes.
Well, much of that is the frustration, much of that, I guess, is probably missing, and that's kind of what my point was to Jerry. And that's what that white line item is we don't necessarily know what we have, when it was put in, and what the life expectancy of just playground equipment is. And we should have a smart plan for, you know, when does the playground in Nelson need to be replaced? You know, those kinds of things, so I'll endeavor, we'll try it.
and I think we have to keep in mind, like, and I think it was Sue that gave me this good advice at one point early on was the historical expectation and that was X. We've now started a new process and a new way of doing things. So I also want to just be cognizant of like, how much lift are we talking about to go back and like compile all this versus, hey, at least we started and now we know at least everything going forward will be good. Whatever we're already compiling and all that, I think should totally be public and shareable to anybody based on that stuff.
But I think this all getting compiled, it makes you have to have for insurance.
All of
So I think
this
that's-
stuff should have some sort of a replacement schedule.
Right.
In theory, but if that's not what we always did, then
No.
we don't have that. I don't think it's
It
prudent
is
to
a
say,
big thing.
staff, go back and spend all your time building this replacement schedule versus we're starting now. We're gonna keep getting better every single year. And I want to remind the council that on the 30th, 10 days from now, which will be before our next meeting, is the candidate meet and greet up here. So that format, I think, I don't know if we've found a moderator necessarily, or if one of you is gonna moderate, but essentially, if you watch the League of Women's Ames of Story County, it's really every candidate will have the chance to introduce themselves, and then it'll really be like our citizens forum. If there's a question, they can ask a question, and then everybody will have answer the question with the opportunity to answer the question. Essentially, we'll figure out the timer or something like they did, I think was wise, but really just whatever the citizens are coming to ask is what all the candidates will have the chance to answer.
Well, ask your questions, as soon as you're fine. Can you send it to us as a spreadsheet instead of a PDF?
Is it recorded in Facebook?
This,
Yep.
yeah,
Thank you.
we can send that to you.
Because
The capital improvement plan you're asking for in a spreadsheet?
That way, yeah, Ken made his request, although I'll keys it on an Excel sheet, but different ways to compile it.
Sure, soon.
For the 31st.
Yeah, and then I should also update council. We finally have what we believe to be a fully pinned down county supervisor's visit on the 31st.
Halloween.
We've worked together, yep, we've worked together an agenda. It's still a work day for me. It's still a work day for them. On the 31st, they'll be here. We're looking at a ribbon cutting at the sports complex with a little press release about that and the project and what's been designed in that. Which is overdue to recognize the Weekses for that. They'll touch on the daycare. Jerry will get you a more formal agenda as to what we're doing. There'll be a small bus tour. They'll hit a few places and then there'll be a community tour, just like we did when we were interviewing candidates. A little lunch in there. Jerry and the staff is putting together a book of like kind of just all the things that we've been working on. Hopefully we'll be able to see a portion of that before, but all the projects from the developments to the community center library, to the sports complex, to the
Potentially like R38 projects.
some of our just a big scope. I've asked them to try to put some sort of document together that can be handed to them that shows all the projects going on and where the plans, copies of blueprints, whatever we have available to talk about everything happening.
Are there ways we from council can support you?
Everybody would be welcome to stop by and shake hands with the supervisors and appreciate, show their appreciation to their support of the community. They did give us $168,000 last year. We obviously have a list where we'll be knocking on the door for more. But an opportunity to just showcase the community a little bit. We'll be the first community in the county to do something like this with all 3 supervisors.
And tentatively 10:30 to 1:30, I think was the time. period.
Okay. So we'll share some more information as we get it and then. But that is actually gonna happen, so.
Can I
31st.
share with you all, I
Please.
got here, just in case you get a question, that there's another Eagle Scout project going on. Mark's been in the loop, but actually it's my son, so there's. Part of Grimm is tore up and it's got caution tape around it right now. There's a new Gaga ball pit going in that will happen on Sunday, so just FYI, in case somebody goes, what's going on down there?
Perfect.
You guys know what's happening.
What is
Did all of the
Dodgeball?
site, what's that?
What is it?
Dodgeball.
Kind of like dodgeball and bowling mixed. They
Very cool.
roll a ball at each other, and then they have to jump out of the pit if they get touched, kind of a thing. So there's actually a nice little rule sign and whatnot. It's a very nice piece of equipment that it'll be nice. So all the site prep is done. Mulch was, donated mulch was delivered today. The Boy Scouts will be building it on Sunday, so just FYI.
You got plenty of help, you need more.
I think so far, I don't know, but I think he's got enough. It's looking pretty good, so, yeah. At this point, Grady, and I, with my supervision, did all of the cutting and pre-drilling this weekend. And then we did the site prep on Sunday with, Ben Randolph's help. And, so it's legitimately just bolting this thing together and spreading mulch, so, yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you.
FYI.
Yep, we approved that. I think, or we had the minutes, so we've all green lighted it. So thank you. Appreciate that. Another donation. Anything else? Anybody else? Announcement or touch on? Then I would welcome the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Joel first, second from Sean. All those in favor signify with aye.
Yeah.
Opposed?
What's a brownie? Help yourself, please.
You got trees.
I don't need them.